Hear ye, hear
Hello.
ye.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
No, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
1, 2, 1, 2.
No? Can't hear me. Can you hear me now? Yes. Sorry.
Oh, yay, oh, yay.
How about now? That sounds good. Thank you.
Looks better. Thank you.
All right. Tell you what, this is our
Thank you.
2-minute warning. So grab a sandwich, get something to drink, get your chips all picked up, and then
Told me to
we
smack
will
the guy next to me, so I did.
start up. Yeah, I know.
Maybe you shouldn't say warning. Say notice.
I know. I still like to get people time.
We got everybody on the Upper East End.
Oh, he didn't get his either. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Lower West End. You flipped over.
Pardon?
You flipped over.
I didn't. He took my seat. What are you going to say? She went over and she took my seat. They said she put a name tag and just sat there. I said, okay.
Stop now.
That's the fun. I guess we don't have assigned seats, but nobody was here at all when I came.
I liked it.
It's not realistic.
Whether it's here or there, like any corner, because I like being in like.
I like being near a door.
I can't be like. I feel like I'm between like two people. I'm like.
Oh, I was watching. I was always like between one person down there and there, but now they're filling it up. I guess all the new people are getting together.
Okay, so when
Why?
it comes to, we never get to the murder.
Vic looks like he wants to say something. I'm not one of them, yay. That means I didn't do anything wrong yet.
Yeah.
My nephew's one person,
No, haven't seen him.
graduated as a scientist, and he helped her study them, and he knows it. And it cracks me up because he'll still,
Oh, yeah.
because I work with special needs kids in high school that are a lot
It seems like a good thing, though. I don't know. It's just so weird. I watched it for like a week. I watched what he's supposed to do and thinking
Other than that, if you talk,
it's going to be very useful to be able to sort of communicate something quickly, non-verbally.
Are we short?
Yeah.
I'm not going to
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out, I mean, it's going to
Yeah, this is not a good time to change careers, I don't think.
Okay, everybody. It is time.
Jen's kind of on the same thing, too.
Okay. Today is Monday, June 8th, and it is 6:10, just a tad after 6 o'clock when we like to start. And so we're going to go ahead and start our meeting. Thank you all for being here. Let's go ahead and start off with agenda item number 1, and that is our welcome, which I just did, and call to order, which I just did. So let's do our start the recording. Got it? And roll call.
Christina Barbera.
here.
Christina Barbera.
Excused.
Okay, excused. John Barbera.
Here.
Ben Brooksford.
Present.
Christina Calandra.
Present.
Vic Christensen here. May Cordera Herrera is excused. Adrian Fernandez.
Here.
Cynthia Gagne.
Here.
Gwen Henry.
Excuse.
Excused.
Yeah.
April Jones.
Here.
Madeline Albrecht.
Here.
Kelly Miller.
Here.
Kane Nicholas. Thomas Norman excused. Ray Regalado.
Here.
Angela Sumner.
Here.
Chris Valle.
Here.
We have 13 present.
All right. So, moving on to agenda item number 2, general public comment on non-agenda items. We have on our non-agenda item comment, please, if you want to make a comment, go and pick a speaker card so that we can get you in queue. 2 minutes per individual. And we'll start off by calling Chris Valle as a stakeholder.
Thank you. Check. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Thank you, board. Thank you, audience. My name is Chris Valle. I'm from Vista Del Oro, live over on Walker. I would like to express my opposition to the proposed gifting of the former county courthouse property in downtown San Pedro to the Port of Los Angeles High School. In principle, I'm categorically against the expansion of charter schools in this community in general. And I have a particular objection to the opaque manner in which this has sort of progressed. Clearly, conversations have been happening without public access or interest, and then very recently, as late as today, materials have been circulated online about a meeting that's going to happen, I believe, on the 18th at the Port of LA High School. And there's already an active conversation happening in social media in San Pedro, but I would recommend that the relevant committees consider taking this up. I will suggest it to Youth and Outreach at our next meeting. I would also recommend that people do some homework on the legacy and history of charter schools, the difference between community public schools, and also lean on their elected officials to be transparent and forthcoming about the disposition of public property, especially in a case like this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next will be Tony Mercandante. So, Tony, you have 2 items listed, so a minute each.
All right, I'll make it quick.
All right.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
You're
the
talking,
other one, the next mic.
That's
This one? Okay.
There you go.
Thank you. My name is Tony Mercadante. I'm a resident here, owner in San Pedro. I just wanted to bring a couple things to your attention. The first one is I believe teachers should be given a living wage and all that, but with this World Cup coming up, and I hear about unions trying to strike that work at SoFi Stadium, it's not a good look for union people, for people from outside LA. Having said that, I want to get to my main concerns here. The first one is, if you know anything about aviation, sonic booms from jets can literally fly in the air 50 miles away. People can hear sonic booms over 50 miles away. Maybe more for Air Force jets, whatever. We had a problem the other day. I think it was like Saturday, May 9th. You may have already heard about this. But there was some type of EDC concert down in Cabrillo Beach. And I live about 6 miles away from there, up Western, I guess north on Western. And I'm speaking on behalf of all the condo owners by Albertsons at Western and Westmont over that way. We could hear it. People in Lomita could hear it. Torrance. You can't have that type of engineering going on with supposedly people that are competent engineers and sound engineers. It's just not, that's not the way that should work. If I hear noise bouncing off my walls and it sounds like it's right next door, somebody either needs to come here and explain next month what was going on or get retrained, possibly learn about math and science and how sound really travels through the air, especially up in the hills. You can ask the owners there how that works. Anyway, I ran out of time, but that's kind of my main point. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Melanie Lebrecht as a stakeholder.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring something to everybody's attention. I don't know how much people have seen on Facebook or anything else. Bob Bryant, as many may know, was on our board for many years. and he was in a serious accident. He had a very serious fall and fractured his neck and his spine, which left him to have to be ventilated. He is on a ventilator. He had a stroke. He also was having a GI bleed, and he's not doing very well. He's going to, if he makes it out of this, he'll be in a long spine rehab. He was in Idlewild at their family home that they go to visit, and he had to be air flighted to Riverside, and he's in Riverside Hospital. So his family is going back and forth. His daughter, grandchildren, and his wife are going back and forth between here and Riverside. And they also, and they live here and they have, obligations here. So they're having to stay in hotels and stuff like that. So they have set up a GoFundMe, and it is online on Facebook. I mean, if anybody can help give to them, I recommend it. He is a pillar in the community. He was on our neighborhood council for a long time, as well as he, red car, the trolley driver for many years when the red car was there. And also, he's very active in his church. So I just encourage everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. This is the last speaker card I have, so if anyone wants to get in a last-minute card, let me know. And the next person will be Victor Christensen as a stakeholder.
I'm on the flip side of the coin from Chris. I am for the Port of Los Angeles High School being able to expand into the San Pedro Courthouse property. My son went there, and I know firsthand how cramped they are, and they need more space. They don't even have a real gym. They were using classrooms as locker rooms when he went there. No showers or anything like that, so they need that space for at least a real gym, and they also have listed regional skilled spaces for workforce development, center serving students, a multi-purpose gymnasium and theater, open-air corner amphitheater, and Pixels Art Center. They are having a community open house on the 18th. You had that date right. June 18th, Thursday of next week, from 5:30 to 6:30 at the school to go over the plan.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to the end of our general public comment. Moving on to agenda item number 3, the consent calendar. We only have one item on our consent calendar, and that's the...
Ring.
What? Oh. You're right. My error, we started a meeting and we didn't do our flag salute like we're usually, so I'm glad Cynthia brought it to my attention. My apologies to all. So can we stand and face the flag? Cynthia, will you lead us?
Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, let's get back to the consent calendar. One item, and that's the approval of our meeting minutes for May 11th.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing no hands, can we take count?
John Barbera.
Yes.
Ben Bruxford.
Yes.
Christina Calandra.
Yes.
Vic Christensen, aye. Adrian Fernandez.
Yes.
Cynthia Gagne.
Yes.
April Jones.
Yes.
Melanie Brecht.
Yes.
Kelly Miller.
Yes.
Ken Nicholas.
Yes.
Ray Regalado.
Yep.
Angela Sumner.
Yes.
Chris Valle.
Yes.
It is unanimous with 13.
All right. Moving next to item number 4, motions. We have a host of motions all dealing with budget and finance, so I'm going to let Melanie take over.
Okay, so the first one is the MER, and this was not out of committee because it was not ready from the city clerk. So I need somebody to move this.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
A quick question. How much do you project in rollovers for next year?
10 or a little tiny bit under.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 10 or a little bit under.
Okay.
That's why we've got these other expenses on here, because we were going to have more than 10. So anyway, so call for the vote. Kane?
Aye.
John Barbera?
Yes.
Vic Christensen?
Aye.
Ray?
Yes.
Ben?
Yes.
Adrian?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
April?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Melanie? Yes. Angela?
Yes.
Chris Valier?
Yes.
And Christina?
Yes.
Calandra. And then next is, let's see, the budget. And that's on page 9. So this is out of committee, so any discussion? Call for the vote. Kane? Ken? Kane?
Yes.
John Barbera?
Yes.
Vic Christensen?
Aye.
Ray Regalado?
Yes.
Ben Brexport?
Yes.
Adrian Fernandez?
Yes.
Cynthia Gagne?
Yes.
April Jones?
Yes.
Melanie LeBrac? Yes. Kelly Miller?
Yes.
Angela Sumner?
Yes.
Chris Valier?
Yes.
Christina Calandra?
Yes.
Okay, next item is for $425 for board member informational binders and contents. These are the binders that some of the past board members have gotten that are, because we're going to be having elections and all that, to have all our supplies to make new binders, as well as to print all the new bylaws once they come out, and to print all the new standing rules, and to do those binders. So that's for the dividers and all of that and the binders, it comes out to about $425 for 17 of them. So this is out of committee. Any discussion? So Kane?
Aye.
John Barbera?
Aye.
Vic
Aye.
Christensen? Ray Regalado?
Yes.
Ben Brexford?
Yes.
Adrian Fernandez?
Yes.
Cynthia Gagne?
Yes.
April Jones?
Yes.
Melanie LeBrac? Yes. Kelly Miller?
Yes.
Angela Sumner?
Yes.
Christian Valier?
Yes.
And Christina Calandra?
Yes.
Next is $120 for 2 boxes of 10 reams of paper. So they're 10 reams each in the boxes of paper. Again, this is for the mailroom for printing all these agendas and to print all the bylaws again and to print all the stuff for inside the books. So this is out of committee. Kane?
Aye.
John?
Yes.
Vic Christensen?
Aye.
Ray Regalado?
Yes.
Ben Brexford?
Yes.
Adrian Fernandez?
Yes.
Cynthia Gagne?
Yes.
April Jones?
Yes.
Melanie LeBrac? Kelly Miller?
Yes.
Angela Sumner?
Yes.
Chris Valier?
Yes.
And Christina Calandra.
Yes.
Next is $80 for our printer ink at the mailroom. Out of committee, any discussion? Okay, Kane,
Aye.
Nicholas, John Barbera,
Yes.
Vic Christensen,
Aye.
Ray Regalado,
Yes.
Ben Brexford,
Yes.
Adrian Fernandez,
Yes.
Cynthia Gagne,
Yes.
April Jones,
Yes.
Melanie LeBrac, yes, Kelly Miller,
Yes.
Angela Sumner,
Yes.
Chris Valier,
Yes.
Christina Calandra.
Yes.
Now, Next one is $60 for bank boxes and folders. These are to store all the treasurer folders. And so right now I've got one bank box that's big, that's like this big, and I'm never moving it again unless I get a couple more bank boxes that I can get the files out of it. And then we have to figure out what we're doing with all the years of files, if they'll let me have them shredded or if I have to take them downtown or what. Because there's like, between mine and the files, there's probably about 12 to 14 years of files.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
Shredded.
So,
That's shredding history.
Melanie, I have a question. Do we have a system where we scan all the documentation?
yes,
So that, okay.
it's a double indemnity type thing. So I have a flash drive that everything is on. But then it's a double backup for hard copy that you keep a hard copy file of it too that they have. It's a double system that they have.
Are the ones on the hard drive or the ones that are in the box on the hard drive?
Yeah, the ones that are in the box are on the zip drive.
Okay.
So that way if something gets lost or crashed in, on the flash drive, you have your backup on the hard copy still. Question? What? Yeah.
So, is there a time limit before we could maybe get them destroyed?
That's what I'm working with the city clerk to find out what I can do if I can destroy a bunch of these.
Okay.
Or if I have to take them down there to have them destroyed, or if I can just go and we pay $50 to have all of it shredded.
Okay.
Okay. So this is out of committee. So Kane Nicholas?
Aye.
John Barbera?
Yes.
Vic Christensen?
Aye.
Ray Regalado?
Yes.
Ben Brexford?
Yes.
Adrian Fernandez?
Yes.
Cynthia Gagne?
Yes.
April Jones?
Yes.
Melanie LeBruck, yes. Kelly Miller?
Yes.
Angela Sumner?
Yes.
Chris Vallier?
Yes.
And Christina Calandra?
Yes.
Okay, now, this is where it gets fun. So we're redoing the Zoom again, and we're doing the Canva because they decided on the day that the checks ended on the 1st, at 5 o'clock that night, or 6, they emailed me the invoices all of a sudden out of the blue that I've been asking for. The checks are cut off. We cannot draft a check. I tried. And you saw the decline. They wouldn't do it. So what they said is now, even though before on business stuff we've been able to put it on our next year's budget, Elin says we can't, and that I have to do a separate Zoom budget or BAC and a separate Canva BAC for 2026-27. You can't include it in the top office stuff, that it's not considered a consistent thing type thing. And I'm like, okay, so this is what we're doing. We're just going to follow the rules and do what she says. So,
question, Melanie. So, if this passes, because I saw the decline as well, how are you going to pay for these ones? Through the credit card? Because they're not. I don't believe that they're going to allow you in the new fiscal year to buy something that was passed in the previous fiscal year.
she told me to just approve it for 2026-27 on the BAC, and that it could be approved.
Okay.
Along with and turn it in with our new fiscal year budget.
Okay. Yeah, because that's happened to me before, where I've had something in the last fiscal year, and then so I just want to make sure,
It's a check, so she says just submit it right away on the 1st when the money shows up.
Okay.
So, yeah. I'm going to hold her to it because it's in an email. So, anyway, so the first one is the $260 for 2026-27 Zoom licensing. So, Kane Nicholas. Aye. John Barbera.
Yes.
Vic Christensen.
Aye.
Ray Regalado.
Yes.
Ben Brexford.
Aye.
Adrian Fernandez.
Yes.
Cynthia Gagne.
Yes.
April Jones.
Yes.
Melanie LeBruck. Yes. Kelly Miller?
Yes.
Angela Sumner?
Yes.
Chris Vallier?
Yes.
And Christina Calandra.
Yes.
Next one is $100 for Canva. So any discussion? Kane Nicholas.
Aye.
John Barbera.
Yes.
Dick Christensen.
Aye.
Ray Regalado.
Yes.
Ben Brexford.
Yes.
Adrian Fernandez.
Yes.
Cynthia Gagne.
Yes.
April Jones.
Yes.
Millie LeBrecq, yes. Kelly Miller.
Yes.
Angela Sumner.
Yes.
Chris Vallier.
Yes.
And Christina Calandra.
Yes.
Next one. So go to page 11 and 12. So Victor and I went to the mailroom and we went through all of our audio equipment that we have and a bunch of old stuff that we have. And so if you'll see on the right side is June 2nd, removed from inventory. This is stuff we're requesting that be removed. There could be also on here the HP printer once we find it. Christina's trying to figure out where it went. It says to be salvaged on this one. There's an HP printer on here up at the top. But we did find the old projector. So that old projector can be used like for committee meetings or whatever. If you need a projector to put something up, you can use the old one. I'd say leave the new one to go with the computer and don't use the new one. The old one is fine for projecting stuff. The new one, we're going to need this one for doing hybrid meetings. So anyway, so take a look at that, 11 and 12. This is out of committee. So this motion will be to approve the current inventory as well as approve the salvage of the stuff that needs to be salvaged. So any comments?
Of any of the items that need to be salvaged, can any of that be donated to? No. Okay.
No. And what they've done is there's this new thing that they've done now with the salvage. They sent me this link, and you have to go to Department of Sanitation and fill out a Google form, and they send it to Department of Sanitation, and it says on there, and you could be charged for them to come and pick it up. Or they will give you a location where you can drop it off on an appointment somewhere. And I'm like...
They're charging themselves for this thing. That's great.
Right. Yep. I showed Victor. He's like, what?
And you thought Gaffey Street.
Well, yeah, and we talked about the Gaffey Street, and I mentioned it to her, and she said, well, you'll have to see what they give you when you put in the form, whether or not Gaffey Street location is a place you can take it. And I go, well, I hope I'm not going to have to take it to East L.A. or something, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, because we got right here on
Right here.
right next door to us.
I know.
You're thinking too logical.
Yeah, sorry.
So anyway, Kane?
Aye.
John Barbera?
Yes.
Vic Christensen?
Aye.
Ray Regalado?
Yes.
Ben Brexford?
Yes.
Christina? No, not that one. Adrian Fernandez?
Yes.
Cynthia Gagne?
Take it all.
Yes. April Jones?
Yes.
Millie LeBrecq? Kelly Miller?
Yes.
Angela Sumner?
Yes.
Chris Vallier?
Yes.
Christina Calandra?
Yes.
Now, last but not least, on page 13 and 14 and 15 is our new fiscal year budget with our $25,000 that we get. So we've got all of the Zoom, Canva, the because for audio, you can't issue a check. They do a check. So we have to put the audio for June in here for it to pay it. And the minutes for May, because at work never sent me Cheryl's invoice. So they're going to have to wait to be paid because it was after the 1st of June. And also the June invoice has to be paid for her. So, yeah. So $15,615 for the operational part of it. And then you flip to page 14. So we have Candy Cane Lane 1,000. Candy Cane Lane, $250 for crafts, Holiday Parade $500 for CD15 tree lighting, and then unallocated funds $2635, and then $4,500 for elections. And then flip it over on 15, and that brings our total to $25,000. Any discussion?
Just one question. Is there any way we can print these packets in black and white to save on color ink? No.
It's my own printer, so that it's the way that she prints it. I don't know.
Maybe you can talk to her about it.
I can talk to her about it and see.
She should be able to click color or black and white.
You can switch.
Yeah.
I think she just prints what I send her, the color, and my printer and my scanner all does in color.
Yeah, but
so
they
I'm thinking
can,
she's just
she
doing
can do
the
it
way
in
I
black and
sent
white.
it, but she could print it in black and white.
Gives you the option.
Yeah.
There only things that need to be in color should be in color, and these don't
Right.
need to be in color.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this
Hold
is
on.
out of committee.
I have
so,
a question for
Oh, okay.
yes, for the election budget, the 4,500. Is there a quote for the ads?
Huh?
The San Pedro Today ad. Is there a quote for that, or like an
No,
approximate?
not yet.
We're just budgeting all. And
Just as we talked about, just gave you a
yeah.
budget to work within
Okay, perfect.
for
Thank
it.
you. That works. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, any more?
Nope.
Kane, Nicholas, John Barbera,
Yes.
Vic Christensen,
Aye.
Ray Regalado,
Yes.
Ben Buxford,
Yes.
Adrian Fernandez,
Yes.
Cynthia Gagne,
Yes.
April Jones,
Yes.
Melia Breck, yes, Kelly Miller,
Yes.
Angela Sumner,
Yes.
Chris Follier,
Yes.
and Christina Calandra.
Yes.
Okay. So those are those.
Those are others.
Adrian, answer your question. I believe when Chris got with Josh was like
Use your mic, please.
Chris got with Mike when we had it at because Youth and Outreach we did it. It's about 2,500.
Okay, that's fine.
You know, but that's a full page, right?
I think
Yeah.
they quoted us $1,200 for a half page, and we were considering kind of settling maybe for $2,000 for a full page, but we had never progressed farther than that.
Okay. We'll work with what I got.
So maybe, I think what the thing is to do is kind of negotiate with him too, possibly if we're going to be putting our elections in there to see if maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna work with the outreach.
Yeah.
I'm gonna work with the outreach committee when we get closer, so
Yeah.
we can go through that.
Okay, sounds good. So, do you want me to just keep going? Since they're both the public safety, CIS, and then the executive one. that-
Well, we're through with the budget and finance. So we're going to move on to the next item on motions, and that's for public safety. And Melanie, again, will take care of that.
So this is a council file for council file CF 260275 for 2100 Southwestern Avenue Land Use Regulatory Control State License Community Care Facility State and Federal Regulatory Controls out of committee. That is on. These are
16 and
backwards.
17.
Oh Lord, they're backwards.
Yeah.
There we go. Here we go. Here it is. So this is council file that Tim McCosker instructed in Planning Department, assistance of the Department of Building and Safety, and a consultation of the city attorney to prepare a report outlining land use regulatory controls that would apply or could be made applicable to any proposal submitted for expansion or development of the property at 2100 Southwestern Avenue in San Pedro as transitional housing, inpatient or outpatient mental health services, or any other state licensed community care facility. This report should also include an explanation of any applicable state and federal regulatory controls and laws that would govern such a proposal should one be submitted. And this is out of committee. Any discussion?
I have a discussion. So I looked at the council file, and there's two things I want to point out here. First one is I looked at the council file today. There still has not been a report back from the city attorney and DBS and the planning. So I'm very, for me, not cautious, but a little concerned that, the city has not done their due diligence in bringing a report back. And number two, the concern I have is that the city really has no jurisdiction over the money that is going through to have this project be where it is.
But they do over the zoning.
Over the zoning.
They do over the zoning, and they have over the building and safety and all of that. They have jurisdiction over it. That's the part that they do. And so what Tim is calling for is just an overall outlook of the zoning and have a traffic study and all of that done to make sure.
There's not a traffic study in the motion.
I know. There's another motion that calls for that. Not in this one. There's an amendment to this thing, too, I think. It's on the other page. It says, I further move that the City Council instruct the General Services Department to request the Class A appraisal of the property located at 2100 Southwestern Avenue in San Pedro. The appraisal should be evaluated and incorporated into the city's report and findings. I further move that the City Council instruct the Los Angeles Housing Department to report the rules and regulations as well as rights and responsibilities for residents in long-term senior living care and convalescence care facilities in the city of Los Angeles. The report should include residents' rights to continue their tenancy and the role of the city in any proposed relocation.
Yeah, well, also, I'm considering, if the city had zoning jurisdiction, then a grant should not have been rewarded. And then also, given the fact that if we're talking about the residents, the care of the residents, then that was a process well before the organization going in there was going to happen. But why?
That's for the city and the state to decide. And it could be a legal battle versus, to decide that. Drew?
Can I clarify?
Yes.
I just want to clarify the city's potential role here. This is a 100% state-administered grant that is written in the state statute to bypass any and all local municipal restrictions, regulations, anything. Furthermore, there's no appeal process for the local community.
Right.
So this process was designed to push through a project as quickly as possible without any local input. So any sort of sway that the council office may have over traditional developments does not it just doesn't happen here. Also, state elected officials are also, by design, excluded from this process as well. So you're talking about any sort of regulation or requirement for a traffic study or an environmental review. None of that is required.
Was that
by the state?
Is that language through a state law, or was that through the proposition passed by the voters?
I believe it's through. No, there's Prop 1,
right,
and then there's a statute that goes with it.
But is that particular language in state law, or is that?
I believe so. I don't know
1?
Which one it's in, but it's the councilman said it's in the statute.
Okay. So I think that's important to know, because again, if that language is in state law, it's state law. But if that language was in through what the voters passed, then it was up to the voters, that decided that was
I believe it's in the
law?
statute that was authored.
Okay.
And there were also like lobbying organizations that were instrumental in how the statute was written.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's important to look at everything.
Right.
But in terms of, there's things that are coming up in terms of the rights of the people who are living there now. And that's what this is really focusing on is, does the city have anything? Is there anything the city can do to protect the seniors that are living there?
Right.
So then my last question is, what is the status of the report back? Because this was a council file motion that was passed by City Council on April 29th, and here we are on June 6th. And
I think we have another week or two until we get reports back. I know that we're following up, and I follow up every single week, and I think it'll be another week or two until we're able to understand. There's a lot that goes into it. It's a very complicated case.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Drew.
Any other questions from around the table? I see none. I think we have a question or a comment from the audience.
Thank you, Adrian, for your comments. We voted for Proposition 1. And the reason we voted for it is because there's a strong need for more facilities of mental health and rehabilitation for alcoholism and drug addiction. And we don't want to have a bunch of barriers that are going to slow the process down. To my understanding, I don't know about the statutes, but Proposition 1 does override zoning. But honestly, it's sort of a moot point because it's already been passed by City Council. And I just want to say, your voting for this report or against this report is not reflective of whether you support the Fred Brown program or you don't. It's just a report. But there's a reason that we passed Proposition 1 to have a more expeditious process, because look at all the barriers that have slowed down helping people get off the streets and get mental health help. There's a very good reason why this is there. And the Fred Brown property has nothing to do with the senior living there. That's a totally separate issue. We need to make sure that we're talking about the facts. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I have a comment. The fact still remains that there are seniors that are there. There's 74 of them. And so you can't make them homeless. Then you're serving nothing. If you are trying to serve the homeless and the mentally ill and stuff, and then going to make the seniors homeless, you can't serve two lords and two gods.
Just one last point, right? And I'm just trying to, again, understand the feel for this, that if the voters decided that this was what they wanted, to override zoning, that was up to the voters. Now with the seniors, my understanding that the process for relocating the seniors were before the organization were going to come in. If that was the case, how come there was nothing from any local government entity to say, hey, were there relocations of the seniors prior to when Fred Brown came in? That's sort of my thing.
There wasn't. So
Cynthia?
So you're saying that, like, if we vote for this, we're throwing the seniors out on the street without having any plan?
No, this is just supporting Tim's motion for zoning, to have a zoning thing and have them look at the seniors' facility and all that. It's just to support Tim's motion to have building and safety look at this. It's a motion that Tim McCoster did, and we're supporting that council file.
Yeah, I just think we should try to avoid debating the wider topic and stick to this letter specifically.
So, excuse me. I'm going to call for the vote on this. Kane?
Aye.
John Barbera?
No.
Vic Christensen?
Aye.
Ray Regalado?
No.
Ben?
No.
Adrian?
No.
Cynthia? No. April?
Abstain.
Melanie? Yes. Kelly?
Yes.
Angela?
Abstain.
Chris?
No.
What did he say?
Christina? Glenn?
Abstain.
Okay, so how does this work?
What did Chris say?
They're in the middle of a vote. They're in the middle.
Huh?
No, Kane
Chris, what was your vote? No.
But Kane, they're in the middle of a vote. Oh, you want to make Kane wants to make a modification to the vote.
Okay.
No.
No? 7 no's and
3 ayes, 3 abstentions.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ayes and
No.
7 no's.
No, there were abstentions.
Well, I mean, 1, 2, 3 abstentions.
3 abstentions, 3 ayes, and 7 noes.
7 no's, yeah.
Okay. So 3 ayes, 7 nays, 3 abstentions. So it does not pass.
Okay. So, next one is 25002S22, Department of Housing. This is to do with removing housing equal house rule for discriminate against transgender people within HUD assisted housing.
Lori's going to speak on
Okay.
this item.
Hi, guys. Happy Pride Month. Don't want to forget that. My exact wording for my motion is on the front page of my homelessness liaison report. You can read through it, but the bottom line is this, is the federal government has put through a motion to discontinue housing assistance for anybody who is transgender. Housing is a human right. This is discrimination at its worst. So there's a city council file to oppose this, and I'm asking our board to look at this. There is absolutely no reason to not provide housing assistance because somebody is transgender. You could read my wording on this. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to address them. I think it's pretty straightforward.
Lori, if I can ask, is there something from what you have written on your report?
Do you need me to read my motion?
No, we can read it.
We can read it, but I mean, I'm asking you if there's something in particular.
Well, sure. Okay. So the equal access rule that's in existence now benefits all people seeking assistance, access to housing and homelessness services, and has a vital impact for members of the transgender community. Okay. So to cut this off, there's already a lot of discrimination against transgender people. I see this possibly increasing homelessness for people in this category. Okay. LGBTQ youth make up 40% of the homeless youth population, and transgender people already are feeling unsafe in emergency shelters. So having them lose housing assistance, and if you remember a couple of months ago, there was a federal one where they said that any family that was getting any type of federal housing assistance, if one person in their family was undocumented, it could have been crazy Uncle Bob or Grandpa or just one person, okay, that the whole family loses their housing assistance. And I bring this up because this is the continuous discrimination by the federal government of housing assistance. And I say again that housing is a human right. Healthcare is a human right. Okay? I just don't see how we can allow this type of discrimination to happen. It's pretty well explained. And this is from the HUD, which is the Housing and Urban Development in the federal government. I don't know if us voting in LA will make a difference in the long run, but we have to keep speaking up against any type of discrimination.
Okay, I'm going to read the motion.
Okay.
Okay. Whereas on April 28th, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, published a notice of proposed rulemaking NPRN Equal Access to Housing in HUD Program Revisions, which seeks to remove regulatory provisions and rescind Equal Access Rule, EAR, which would allow the Trump administration to discriminate against transgender people within HUD-assisted housing. This is a blatant discrimination. Whereas EAR benefits all people seeking access to housing and homelessness services, and has a vital impact for members of the transgender community seeking services, and requires recipients of HUD's and CPD funding to grant equal access to such facilities and services in accordance with an individual's gender identity. And whereas 1 in 3 transgender people experience homelessness in their lives, LGBTQ plus youth make up 40% of the homeless youth population, and transgender people report feeling unsafe in emergency shelters. Thus, this data demands an intentional commitment to creating pathways to safe, decent, and affordable housing that addresses inequities. Now, therefore, be it resolved, we, your Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council, Resolution 25-002S22, with opposition to the Department of Housing and Urban Development HUD, proposed Rule FR 2026-08244, which would remove regulatory provisions and allow the Trump administration to discriminate against transgender people receiving housing assistance from HUD.
Thank you, Melanie. What's next? They're going to discriminate against left-handed people? I mean, they're just going to keep picking categories to remove housing assistance.
Alrighty. So, any discussion?
I just have a quick question. I know I seem to be the little detail typo person. Twice when you read the council file, you started with 25, and on the document I'm looking at, it says 26.
It's 26.
26002. Oh, okay.
This was just filed like a week ago. Okay.
Yeah.
And I've put this through to all the San Pedro neighborhood councils, too.
So, any questions from around the table? Any comments?
Yeah. Lori, could you detail how long has the equal access rule been in place? Or, like, what's the history of that?
I'm glad that you think I'm so knowledgeable on this stuff. I do have a link to the complete council file, but you'd have to research that one. It might have been in there, but I don't want to answer that because I'm not sure. Okay. Somebody Google it really quick.
No, we don't have the time if you don't have the answer now, so we have to move on.
I know it's been around for a while.
Any other questions, comments from around the table? Any comments or questions from the audience? Okay.
Okay. Kane Nicholas. Kane.
Aye.
John Barbera.
Yes.
Vic Christensen.
Aye.
Ray Regalado.
Yes.
Ben Brexler.
Yes.
Adrian Fernandez.
Yes.
Cynthia Gagne.
Abstain.
Okay. April Jones.
Yes.
Melanie Breck, yes. Kelly Miller.
Yes.
Angela Sumner.
Yes.
Chris Valier.
Yes.
And Christina Calandra.
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you guys for your support. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Lori. Okay, we're going to move on to the next item, and that is Bylaws and Elections Committee. Adrian Fernandez.
I moved up here, back to the old spot. All right. We have another standing rule amendment. This one was on page 21. This is not out of committee, so I will move. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vic. Okay. I will read the amendment. This is related to motions coming out of, not coming out of a standing committee. So I will read the amendment. This would be the new 3 to the standing rules. It's on page 21. If a motion is initiated outside of a committee, outside of a standing committee, it shall first be brought to the appropriate standing committees for vetting. If approved in committee, the committee may bring the motion before the board. The only exception to this rule is if a motion is initiated at a board meeting, in which case the board will determine if the motion needs to go through a committee before being acted upon by the board. Any discussion? Hearing
anybody from around the table?
So just if there's an issue or a motion that comes up in a general board meeting, are you saying that it would need to go back down to a committee level in order for it to move forward?
If that's what the board decides.
If the board decides.
Yes. Any other discussion? Oh, Vic.
Vic?
The idea for that exception was that, if somebody makes a motion to amend a motion that's on the floor, in general, there's no need for that to go back to committee. So it's to cover things like that are made at a board meeting. Now, there may be things that would need to go back to committee if they don't have to do with a particular motion on the floor, or there's some extenuating circumstance where there's more research needed or something like that. But, if we left out that exception statement, then any move to amend would have to go to committee by definition. So that was the spirit, at least, behind that.
Chris.
Thanks. I guess just real simply, I would like to know what action is this intended to prevent?
I'll direct you to the maker of the motion, Secretary Christensen.
In practice, we already have, when somebody wants to bring a motion before the board, we already have them go through committee.
Right.
In looking through the bylaws and the standing rules, there is actually nothing in either one that states that. So this is the idea behind this is to codify that so that there's no confusion over the process that needs to be used if somebody outside of a committee wants to bring a motion before the board. So I guess technically an answer to your question is to prevent the incorrect process from being used and to have the standing rules in this case, because we aren't in a place to update the bylaws if we wanted to put this there, to have the standing rules match what we do in practice.
Okay.
Any other discussion from the board? Any public comment? Oh, Lori.
So maybe this is the opportune time for me to bring up that I'm your homelessness liaison. I had a motion to submit. I submitted that motion 2 weeks ahead of time to the executive committee because I thought I was following the process that it needed to go through a committee. But I was told at the agenda setting meeting that I needed to go through another committee. Now, I am not on the board. I'm your representative as homelessness liaison. Okay, so I'd like to have this clarified in here that I can submit this to the executive board, which is listed as a committee, and then my motion comes out of committee. The secretary objected to this and said I wasn't following process, so I'd like clarification so that I am properly following the process and don't have this happen again.
Per Robert's rules, if Mr. Christensen wants to give a clarification to the public comment.
That was the whole purpose of this, is to clarify the confusion that happened at that meeting. A liaison is not a committee. Therefore, that would fall into the outside of a committee definition, and it would need to go through another committee. The executive committee is typically not the right committee for anything to go through except in very extenuating circumstances, such as time urgent matters and things like that.
Where does it say that you're called the executive committee?
Read the definition of what's the executive committee. It is in the standing rules.
Well, this is going to clarify that, right?
Another one.
Let me make this clear that I sent this motion 2 weeks ahead of time to all 4 members of the executive committee, and not one person came back to me and told me I wasn't following proper procedure. So I had no way of knowing this. At that time, if you felt that was the case, you should have come back to me. I am a person that tries to be a legal beagle and follow the rules. So I really take exception to this. No, I'm not on the board. No liaison's not considered a committee. Okay? But I think I followed correctly the process that's been outlaid. So I don't know. I'm looking to the president. Is the executive committee allowed to take motions? Because that's happened in the past. I would like this to be clarified. And is this standing rule that came out of the agenda setting meeting, was this in your packet? Because I don't remember seeing this change that he's discussing today.
In which packet are you referring?
Well, I don't have a copy of your agenda packet. But
It is in the agenda packet for today's meeting, if that's what you mean.
Okay. Well, was that voted on at your agenda setting meeting?
No.
No, it wasn't.
That is why it is not out of committee at this meeting.
I see. Okay. Well, I see the rules apply to some people, not everyone.
If I may,
I will say that the standing rule number 1 does allow the president to put on the items after the approval from the committee. So.
And just let me make it clear. I was not at this executive committee meeting because of the fact that I was out assisting with the voting process over those 4 days. So I really should abstain from the conversation in this whole thing, to be honest with you. However, historically, yes, we have taken motions out of our committee, and those were deemed important enough to be able to do it. And memory serves me right, we haven't done something like this recently.
Correct.
So,
okay, I have hands.
So it's not out of the norm. Okay, wait, let Adrian.
No, I was just saying I have hands up. I had Chris, and then Melanie, then Christina. So I have Chris on the key right here.
Yeah, I guess I just want to make perfectly clear, at least for myself, that, or to ask, is or was there any significant detriment to having something agendized from the executive committee? The only example I can think of is if an issue came up that had already missed the other committees. And is there something about the nature of the executive committee in and of itself that would make it inappropriate to agendize an item just based on the assent of the committee members present at the time?
So if you're asking me, if you're asking Adrian, the bylaws chair, in my interpretation with an executive committee, if you're putting the executive committee as an agenda setting, if you're asking me, then the executive committee can put what they want on the agenda.
Thank you.
It's an agenda setting committee.
That's okay.
I will say, Ray makes a good point. I really do caution this neighborhood council to not continue with the historical aspects because we run into issues like this. I really gonna caution that. I have Melanie.
I just want to be clear about whether the rules have any prohibition towards that, because we don't do it all the time anyways.
Yeah.
I think
Melanie.
part of the background on this whole executive board thing is I don't think it's been where we haven't done motions before at it. But I think what the purpose of what Vic is thinking is we have a couple board members that weren't doing their committee meetings and bringing things to the executive board in lieu of having their committee meetings.
And in response to that, yes, that is an issue. But the executive committee can always, again, is the agenda setting. If a stakeholder would like to go ahead and say they can deny it up front. But any other? I saw Christina.
So, just out of curiosity, could the homelessness liaison be part of public safety or community issue so that it's then within a committee and then doesn't? No, never mind.
By definition,
I
probably
withdraw.
not. If they were a standing committee member of that committee, then yes. But, to have the liaison role to be automatically a part of the committee, community issues or public safety, probably not. I mean, if in that sense, they would be an active committee member appointed to that committee.
Yeah.
Did I answer your
Because
question?
it just seems that it should be very clear as to the policy
Typically what has
procedure.
happened is that motions that are related, that Lori, the homelessness liaison, brings up goes through the public safety committee. But I guess by the time there was a response, the public safety committee had already met.
Right.
And the agenda wasn't done or was passed or whatever, and here we are at the executive and 2 weeks later.
Yeah, normally I have done Lori's CISs that she needs done for her, but we had already had our public safety meeting.
Any other? Oh, I have a cane.
What's the definition of a liaison?
What's the definition of the liaison?
Yeah.
It's in the standing rules. It's not on this one, but this, a liaison's a liaison, someone that liaisons to organizations or issues back to the council.
Externally? Externally?
Yes.
I mean, yes. I mean, they report back. Okay. I mean, it's in our standing rules, and it's the standing rule section of the liaison is that they must come back and report back. That was actually a standing rule amendment that was passed the previous, 15 of them.
No. They can come to the executive board and request something, but they can't make a motion on the floor at board meeting.
Those are two different rights. So they can request, but if a stakeholder says, I want, this motion, that means somebody from the executive committee would have to move it and second it. But they can't make the motion. If somebody from the executive would have to move it and second, and then there'd be the other fun stuff. Chris, or Vic, and then Ray. Oh, I'm sorry. Ray, then Vic. I'm sorry.
So, there, historically, and I know how much you don't like that, but historically, the executive committee has used this opportunity to be able to put something on the agenda if there is a need or the issue is time sensitive. We have had very much time sensitive issues that needed to be voted upon, and we needed to do it at a board level for support or whatever. So, yes, we've done it, but only when it's necessary.
Right. And I would say that if in 2A2 of the standing rules, the president has the final say over the agenda. In that case.
Right.
Right? But if you read 2A2, it says right here, the primary function of the executive committee is to assist the president in setting the agenda. So, regardless, it's, still, you can, if there's something less than an emergency, it can be where, the committee votes on it, and then you also, as the president, have the final say.
Right. The president has the final say of the agenda. In fact, we don't necessarily, an executive board meeting, our board has it, but he could set the agenda without us.
He could.
Technically.
Yeah.
President.
But the executive there to assist. But any other comments?
I think Vic's hand was up.
Well, I had one, but I think it's kind of already been covered where in the past, and I already mentioned that for time-sensitive issues, yes, we've done it out of the executive committee. And Melanie already said what I was going to say earlier, that there have been times in the past where committees have basically not done their jobs and waited till the last minute and then tried to run it through executive committee. So we verbally had made a policy that type of thing is not going to happen anymore, and it's only the time-sensitive issue type things that really need to go through that would come out of that, executive committee.
And I think it's very important for the executive committee to distinguish what is just a regular motion and what is time sensitive. So I think that's another thing to consider as well.
I think in the past, time sensitive has been something where there's been an issue come up where there needed to be a review within a certain period of time. The regular standing committee that would have normally addressed that couldn't because they already had their meeting. And sometimes it was like a week or two notice.
and then it came out of executive because of that.
Oh, okay. Any other discussion?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Ben.
Hey, to me, it just seems like we've clarified what the change says to the appropriate standing committee at the appropriate time scale. So if that really is a detail about the process and the relative appropriateness of whether a motion can or cannot be submitted through the executive committee, then that should be documented in the change, like I'd assume.
Are you making an amendment?
No.
Would it help to read what is currently in the standing rules as far as what the executive committee does?
Sure.
It's here.
Oh, you read it?
Yeah.
Okay, he said he read it.
Okay.
I trust him. I'll quiz him later. Anyways, any other discussion? Hearing none, we did public comment. Mr. Secretary, go to vote.
Okay, John Barbera.
Yes.
Ben Bruxford.
No.
Christina Calandra.
No.
Vic Christensen, aye. Adrian Fernandez.
Oh, abstain.
Cynthia Gagne.
Can I ask for what the motion is?
Oh.
We talk so much, it's like.
Well, it's the motion is what you see right before you, which is the one Adrian read at the beginning.
Yes.
April Jones.
Yes.
Melanie LeBrec.
Yes.
Kelly Miller.
Yes.
Kane Nicholas.
Yes.
Ray Regalado.
Yes.
Angela Sumner.
Yes.
Chris Valle.
No.
Okay, 9 ayes, 3 nays, 1 abstention. So that passes.
That's it for me.
All right. Thank you. We are going to move on to item number 5 is a presentation. What I'd like to do
the battery died on the laptop, but I can certainly start the
what I'd like to do is I know we have our public safety people here and others, and because of the fact that they may be on a time crunch, could we get them to give any kind of updates or anything? So that would be agenda item number 7. If you guys, fire department, LAPD, elected officials, if you'd like to come and give any updates, because I know how busy you all are, and you probably are full with all the sandwiches we gave you and all that stuff.
Yeah, thanks. Good evening. I was here a little while ago. I met some of you a few months back. So the same thing happened. Our chief was busy. So Chief Hall said to say, sorry she couldn't be here, and she sent me in her place. So I don't really have any updates, but if you have any questions, I can answer them.
Okay. Any questions specific to the fire department from around the table? Anyone?
Also, real quick, my name is Joe Steiner. Forgot that part. I'm the captain for Station 36, so we're at 1005 North Gaffey.
Right.
So that's where I've been there about 2.5 years. So, and it will be my final stop, I believe. So, but yeah, if you have any questions.
Well, if I can, we're right up on Channel My House, so just so that you can make sure you know where it's at.
Oh, yeah.
Just in case.
Just email me the address.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Anyone else? Christina.
Is there anything LAFD is doing in preparation for potential fires that start from fireworks? Because we're less than a month out.
Yeah, so everything's on LAFD.org. So if you go on there, you can navigate through it. They have a safety tab. And in that safety tab is all home safety, fireworks safety, and all that. So we have our banners that we put up every year about illegal fireworks. So those will be hanging on all the stations in the city. And then some internal stuff that I'm not involved in that goes through our special duty spots through fire prevention. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't get any sort of paperwork or any updates. I know she put, there was a paperwork on there that you could also get through LAFD that shows how busy the station is for 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the year-end wrap-up for incidents that happen, and then they get listed in the categories of EMS, ALS calls, which are high-level EMS, and then fire calls. So one of the least busy spots in the city, so that's good.
That's great. Kelly, I think you had your hand up.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate how much you guys do, and I don't think you guys get enough gratitude. So thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Yeah, we really enjoy it, and I've enjoyed my time in San Pedro. I actually lived here for 3 years. It was the only time I didn't live in where I grew up. I don't know if you guys remember, you used to have to live here in the city to test with the city. I don't know if you remember that. So in 1998, you couldn't test with LA City unless you had an LA City address. So I moved to Pedro, because it's the closest to Huntington Beach. So I lived here for 3 years. I liked it, and then now I'm back, and I think I'll finish on my career here. So I'm sure I'll probably be back to a few more of these.
I hope
it gets
so.
delegated down to me whenever she's busy. So.
Right.
Hopefully we'll see you around first Thursdays and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. And the station's open. It's a public spot for you guys, families, things like that. We usually ask, business hours, 8 to 5, that kind of thing. But if you want to come by and visit, it's 24 hours. So we're always there.
Do you have a dog?
What's that?
Is there a dog there?
No.
My grandson would be so disappointed.
Every now and then I'll bring my dog in for a shift. But yeah, no, we don't have one full time.
My grandson doesn't understand why every fire department does not have a dog.
Yeah.
They're supposed to have a Dalmatian dog.
Yeah.
He's fine.
I hear you.
Anything else? Anyone? All right.
All right. Good seeing you. Good seeing everyone, and thanks for what you do also.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Can we get our
favorite
LAPD?
person's here.
And sorry for being patient with us.
We're open 24/7 too if you guys want to make a visit.
Okay, I have to ask you, do you have a dog?
Not at the station, but we
Lobby
have jail
closes.
cells.
But if they had dogs, they'd be out of it.
No, our Metro has dogs, but all right, everybody. Hello, I'm Officer Bologna with the LAPD Harbor Division, the senior lead officer of the area. So just to go over, I know you guys are very, very busy today, so I'll keep this as brief as possible. For crime stats, we don't have any homicides. So the good thing is year to date, we're comparing the 2025 to 2026. We did have one last year, unfortunately, but this year we have 0. So that's pretty good that, in terms of violent crime, etc., which a few of these other crimes like rape, robbery, and aggravated assault are all downward. So that's a pretty good indicator of violent crime in the area, and it's down. So in terms of burglary, we did have 2 more than last month. So this is comparing April and May. April was 2, and then in May was 4. Motor vehicle thefts, we did have an increase of 1, so from 3 to 4. And then thefts from motor vehicles, we had a decrease from 11 to 9, and then regular thefts, 19 to 13. So obviously the Northwest San Pedro area gets hit a lot with property crimes. So, I would say this is still good just in the fact that there's only several things that have increased, but not drastically, and then some things we do have decreases. So month to month, we have a 28% decrease in crime, and then year to date, comparing 2025 to 2028, we have a 28% decrease in crime. So that's pretty good. So One other thing I would like to say, I know that vandalism is a big issue. I've been in contact with the Peck Park directors in regards to some of the gang tagging that's occurring in the area. I did have a community member that reached out to me over on 10th and Grand. There was constant gang graffiti going on this blank canvas of a building. This is why some of these tips are just very good. And I know there's only so much that we can do on a lot of them, but sometimes when we are able to get some of this extra patrol going, and we do have the ability to, we can have situations like this. So at 10th and Grand, officers were providing some extra patrol at the request of the community due to vandalisms, and then basically they observed somebody tagging RSP, which is the Rancho San Pedro gang tagging. They went to stop that individual. A short foot pursuit ensued, and that suspect was taken into custody, and also a firearm was taken into custody. So it's not somebody that's just tagging, right? This is a gangster that is having a firearm on them, and it was a felon. So they were arrested for felon in possession of a firearm and the vandalism. Another issue is obviously, I'd like to go over this briefly. I get a lot of calls, emails, etc. over parking disputes. Some have led to physical altercations between neighbors. That's not so neighborly, but I understand that parking is extremely, rare. So sometimes we see a lot of these vehicles that are just parked there for an extended period of time. Cobwebs are growing, the dust is there. First, please call DOT for abandoned vehicles and let them conduct their enforcement. I know that there is like a couple-week window. In regards to not impounding the vehicles, I don't understand what's going on there. I can't speak to that. I'm LAPD. I'm hopeful that they are impounding vehicles. But what I did was I rode around for a few hours, and I wrote 30 citations for expired reg. And then I went back around to some of these locations, and I already saw vehicles moving. So, I was able to help out with some of that. So I know that I get a lot of complaints in regards to that, and I'm glad I was able to assist. Another issue, we did have a little buildup of motorhomes in the back over here in Peck Park in the rear parking lot. A couple of those individuals we were able just to talk to, get them out of there. They moved on. And it's very hard, right, because it's a public park. So it's open to the public, but obviously we can't have overnight parking because the park does come to a closure. It is very hard to find resources to conduct enforcement at that time for that issue. So working with the park, working with Parks and Recs in regards to the cleanup and et cetera. We did have one individual that he had a couple pit bulls back here, and he was, some people were having issues. There was a report of possibly someone got bitten by it. So, I really tried to work with that individual and get him out of here and on his own accord. But unfortunately, just, time went by and he didn't move. So he was arrested. He had a warrant, and we did an open charge for the trespassing. And then to get an RV out of the area, it's challenging. We got sanitation to do the pump. We get a tow truck. We get the Parks and Recs because we're not on technically it is city property, but there's a whole other process for like the streets and stuff. Here, that process for park property, that process doesn't really exist. So we kind of got to make it happen. So we had sanitation, tow, we had animal control for the dogs, we had an extra couple officers here for the arrest of the person, and then we had, who else was it? There was somebody else there. Even LASA was involved. They came by. I say this because, lo and behold, it was a week later, he was back out of jail because, obviously trespassing and the warrant wasn't anything serious. And the RV came back. So he got it out of the tow yard. So I know that it seems like a lot of this stuff isn't happening, but there actually is a lot of stuff. And that one event took a lot of planning, a lot of coordinating, and a lot of getting people together to kind of help out to resolve that issue. And I think everyone knows I'm a person that kind of leads to enforcement as a last result, especially when it comes to the homeless stuff, just because there's just so many factors that come into play when trying to resolve issues, and it's more so like how can we actually help the person actually get the whole thing resolved and not have a repeated behavior to where it's just chasing this person around the neighborhood. So I just say this because it kind of provides a little bit of insight as to how complicated the procedures are, how the efficiency of it is challenging. And then when all the stars do align, it is issues can come back, right? So thankfully, I was able to talk to that person again, and I'm working with the parks to get it's a conduct violation basically for the sleeping in the park on a continual basis. So it kind of gets their administration involved and not allowing this person to return to the park for say 6 months to a year. It's something I did at the library when we had a lot of issues going on there with a lot of people. So that's more of a long-term thing. So if the gets approved. We can serve him with that paperwork, and basically if he comes back, he could be arrested for trespassing. So there's options out there. You just got to dig, find, and come to solutions, right? So that's just one issue that had a solution. So I just wanted to touch up on that just to kind of give insight. There is a coordinated effort to assist with the impounding of RVs and assist the homeless people to find housing, et cetera. But it's a process, and it takes a long time and a lot of resources to go into it to help the individual and serve the community as well. So that's what I have on that. And then for events, I have a Coffee with a Cop coming up. That's on June 17th, 9 a.m. at the Target located over here on Gaffey at 1701 North Gaffey. So again, that's June 17th at 9 a.m. at the Target over here on 1701 North Gaffey. And then lastly, we have the CPAD, June 18th at Harbor Station. That's the Community Police Advisory Board, where the community is more than welcome to come, discuss community issues, something that we can help with, and go from there. So that's June 18th at 6 p.m. at our station, the community room. And that's all I have.
I have.
Yes, Melanie.
Okay, so I'm going to start with Christina and then go around this way. So,
Quick question on the LADOT abandoned vehicle complaint. So if a resident fills this out, then it goes to you, and then your department. Oh,
no. So it sticks with DOT. DOT is in charge of parking enforcement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned that you had actually written some tickets. So,
so I
is
have
that
the
separate?
authority to go out and conduct enforcement, right? So I get a lot of I get a lot of, where I like to get involved, I guess, is where it becomes a problem between neighbors and people might get physical. So I like to prevent crime too.
Okay.
So, but if it's just in regards to like, hey, I got this dusty car over here, my hope is that people contact DOT first and let them handle it.
Okay.
But if we're going to have a fight in the middle of the street, I need to make sure we don't have that, so we have some neighborly love.
Thank you.
Melanie, I'm sorry.
Yeah, again, I just want to thank you for our little friend on Capitol Drive. It was all over Nextdoor. It was all over Facebook, all over people posting about the guy in the camper. And he was a nightmare because people in the neighborhood watch were having a fit because he was going out in the middle of the street and shining like a bright spotlight on cars going each way and causing like traffic hazards, and people were going to like have an accident or hit him. And so I want to thank you, because I know a lot of people don't understand the process, how it has to go through. Even though he went through Circle once it got removed from him, the RV, it has to start from square one all over again and go through all the process. So it's like a constant like Groundhog Day over and over again. And so you were able to speed that up and get him to move on. And
yeah, with that one specifically, I worked with Harbor Connects. I like to, when I approach these issues, I like to do everything at once just to expedite it, so whatever bites first, we're able to solve it. But yeah, I worked with Harbor Connects. You got some new tires. My goal was, hey, you got to move along, you got to keep it moving, you got to stick within the parameters of what the parking laws are. And but with him, it's also complicated because lo and behold, he did go through the process at several of these locations, and he got kicked out, and getting him back in is challenging. And then now it's a 2 to 3 month window of him having to make his check-ins, and then he will get the housing. But in the meantime, it's like, well, we still have this going on, and it's just a challenge. It's a
yeah, and that's
hard.
where it's a problem. If they don't follow the rules and get kicked out, and they do that a couple of times, they get blacklisted. And so then it's hard to find them housing again because they, quote, didn't follow the rules specific to whatever the rules were. And then they're out.
Yeah.
And it makes it hard for Circle and Officer Baloney to find them a place to go.
Yeah, and we just do the best we can to resolve the problem to help everybody, and that's really what it is. And if there's, and what I tell people this is, if there's a crime happening, report it, give us something to work with. But if there's no crime, we got to follow in the process, and the process will take effect. And it's unfortunately just sometimes it takes a long time. Sometimes it's short, but sometimes it's a long time.
Adrian.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, just with the graffiti down my street, Park Western, every so often, again, it's just getting hit with the PWP.
Yeah, the Park Western Lomo. So even riding back here, I see a bunch of graffiti that they're coming in. They're doing a lot right now.
Mainly, from my block and then going all the way up to there.
So I'm going to notify our gang unit to be here at nighttime in the alleyways and all that stuff, because they're obviously in this general area, it's the Park Western Lomos. So someone must have got out, and now they're just tagging like crazy. So,
yeah, because I woke up and I went outside and there it was. But then even with these graffitis, they come up, but every maybe 1, 2, 3 days, it's gone.
Yeah. So with that. So the park reached out to me again today saying that somebody was graffitiing one of the walls here, and they just did it. So the process is to paint over as fast as possible. The tricky part is, thankfully, somebody in the park took a picture of the person doing it and of the vehicle they were using. So I'm not saying be confrontational. Don't be that person. Just if you can, get safely, take a picture. So now that park staff, a report's going to be completed for the vandalism. And then we'll have some follow-up for our detectives, and then the process starts, right? So it's really good. So if you're able to, my advice is report it, because before it gets covered up.
Report it to the 311 or the LAPD?
To 311, but if you're a victim, let's say it's like your wall or something like that, do the report, and if you have evidence, submit it so that we can have something to go off.
Because a lot of these graffitis, I would say on my block, right, where I live, is on private property, right, on the wall, like a landscape wall, but it relatively gets done. I mean, most of the ones, that are more public are here at the park.
So that's why, like what I said earlier in regards to the, with the extra patrol, hopefully the extra patrol can catch them in the act and get them. So, but we need the reports too.
Thank you.
Kelly.
Quick question. I know years ago they had a group of people that would go and cover up graffiti. Do you know if there's still any neighborhood people that do that still? Because I know my old history teacher used to do it, and we'd go and volunteer, and we'd paint walls that
I know that there's the local CPR group, and they come around and they help out for some stuff. And but we do have the gap. They come and they cover the graffiti. That's with the 311, etc.
311, okay.
But I do know that there's a local group that does come around and they do stuff.
Okay.
John B.
Thank you so much for everything you do.
Russell, was there anything you heard over at the harbor, the port, that somebody had fallen off one of the tractors to his death?
No, I have not heard of any of that. That's going to be probably Port PD. They will respond to all that stuff. We don't get notified of that.
Yeah, the guy that I worked with said his wife's cousin fell off of one to his death.
Oh, man.
But no one has heard anything from it, or, and that happened Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. Okay, so I would just recommend that individual or the concerned party to reach out to Port PD, and they do an investigation to some degree. I know that Cal OSHA will end up taking it due to it being a work-related incident. But there's got to be some port representative that could probably assist with that one and get that's pretty serious. So there you go.
Huh?
Drew says she has an update on that one.
Oh, okay.
I apologize.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, and then the graffiti that Adrian's talking, it's his phone number. It's on the
All right. Anything else from around the table? I don't see any hands. Lori?
you know I very much appreciate everything you do, but I have to comment that Harbor Connect's buying tires for this person to move into another neighborhood was not a solution. It's just moving a problem out of our neighborhood into somebody else's neighborhood, just like Municipal Code 4118. These aren't solutions.
Okay, anyone else?
Well, I'll briefly touch up on that one too. I'm not in the mood to argue, but basically what happens is I could go through the whole process and speed it all up and take the man's camper, but this is an individual that I know on a personal basis as well. And what he does is he goes on the private lots and he sleeps in cars and causes issues with business owners, etc. So yes, granted, it might move to a new location, but my goal is to prevent crime and prevent, someone getting hurt as well. That's a business owner. So with all the tools and all the stuff that I have at hand, I really am doing my best to resolve issues that's best for everybody, the gentleman in the camper, the community, the business owners, et cetera.
Okay. I reserved myself for the last comment, and I don't expect anything back, but if you can just keep in mind, Park Western, the stop signs, Channel, the stop signs, they're just blowing them. They're not even doing anything. So I'm wondering if there's maybe that we can do
reach
some.
out to a couple of motors that they reach out to me all the time, ask if there's a work for them, and I'll get it done.
I have something on that though. The Vic can go though.
Okay.
Since we're talking stop signs, Westmont and Amelia Avenue.
Yeah. No problem. So we have an extra. The captain was able to get some manpower to do traffic enforcement. The traffic enforcement car. So only we have the motors that I can contact, and then I also have those gentlemen. So please do the submission of the QR code for traffic complaints, but I'll also talk to these individuals. So we got along Park Western and Channel and Capitol and Amelia.
Mine was Amelia and Westmont.
Okay.
And I think
Westmont,
Cynthia.
Yes,
Wait.
on Westmont. Okay.
Yeah. Are you talking Westmont and Mount Shasta? Yes. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
But it is Capitol and Milo too. No.
With Capitol and Western, or Capitol and Westmont, we'll get the assistant.
They were out a couple of days ago. They were
Yes,
on
they were.
Westmont, and they did some traffic stops, and they caught several people.
Yes.
And they were on Capitol and caught like 10
Yes.
people. People were driving right by the police car and just going right through the stop sign and and they made buck that day because I followed him and I watched him.
There we go. Good.
Last
Good to
comment
hear.
from Adrian.
It will be the last comment. But yeah, no, similar. Actually, today when I was going to work, there was an LAPD officer right there right at the end of Villa La Paz, kind of just waiting there.
Okay. Was it a motor?
No, it was
a regular. Okay.
It was a full-blown SUV.
Oh, nice.
So I mean, that's kind of my question is how often does that happen? Where because I will say I was on an e-bike, so I thought he was going to pull me over, but he was there watching the traffic. So how often does an LAPD officer will be sort of at a corner and doing that sort of supervision?
So when you do the traffic complaint, one of those motor officers will be assigned. So they will get that, and they'll stick there. They'll probably do about 10 traffic stops, and then move on to the next stop. And for here, the patrol, the captain, like I said, was able to get 2 officers to do traffic enforcement and work a car together or work by themselves. And so now you have 2 cars doing traffic enforcement. Then that would be their job for the day. Their deployment is probably a few days out of the DP, so we work 13 days a month or 13 days of the structured month of the thing. So basically, they're probably half the DP, I would say. I don't think they're fully assigned the traffic car 24/7.
Yeah.
And then sometimes if you get a patrol officer that just wants to do some traffic stops or something like that, then they'll just find somewhere and they'll just do them. So
I mean, he wasn't hiding. He was full blown. You can see him right there, and he was just kind of parked there watching.
Yeah.
Everything. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course.
All right. I think that should do it. Officer Baloney, thank you so much for being here.
Of course. You guys have a good day.
Thank
You take care of yourself.
You go fight crime.
All right. Drew,
Drew? And Sean, are you gonna? You have a couple things to say? Okay, I'm putting you down just for 2 words.
I shared it last week
You're not supposed to find
in the packet.
We'll hold them to those 2 words.
It was like a black and
Hi, I'll try and be quick. I only have a few things, but there were some things that came up based off of the last conversation with Valoni, so I'll touch on those real quick. We were informed this morning by the councilman of an incident where somebody from Local 94 fell through the hull of a ship and sustained life-threatening injuries to his head, and that trauma resulted in his death, unfortunately. And our office is providing support however Local 94 needs it, to his family, to his co-workers. But it is definitely a tragic event and reminds us of the dangers of working on the docks. So thank you to all of those who continue working to keep our port running and to keep our goods flowing.
Thanks, Drew.
I also wanted to talk about graffiti. If you see graffiti, the photographs are so important. Alma Park Neighbors keeps meticulous records of gang graffiti in Alma Park. They keep the 311 numbers and photos and dates of when they observe the tagging. It's been very helpful for our gang officers there to get convictions of folks who are involved. And so that kind of record keeping is amazing. If you guys want to do that, great. If not, I understand. You can also text me a photo as soon as you see graffiti. Let me know where it is, and I can get GAP out within the day to take care of it. If it's early enough in the day, they'll come out the same day. If it's like after 5, they'll come out the following morning. So you don't even need to, if you don't get a chance to do a 311 or you just need to get it off quickly, you can send it to me, and I'll take care of it. And then also, the person in the RV that was on Channel Street is now on that was on Capitol. He's now on Miraflores, just before the car wash and after Cabrillo. I know that there was the bringing up the Circle team. We actually can't dispatch Circle to him anymore. He has threatened the Circle team. He's threatened to burn down their offices, and so their supervisor has informed them that it's not safe for them to engage with this individual. So it is posing a little bit of an issue, although he is on a waiting list with Harbor Interfaith for housing. And as Valoni said, that he's already been removed from other opportunities due to really, it wasn't just following the rules, it was him getting into fights with other people. So I do support Officer Valoni in his effort to keep our community safe. And then I also wanted to talk about Phillips 66 cleanup. So there was a meeting in the Wilmington Senior Center on June 3rd, and I actually have information that I'm going to provide to you. There are a couple copies here from the California Water Board, frequently asked questions that talk about the cleanup efforts and what the Water Board is requiring and requesting. So I'm going to go ahead and give this to the President. There's also information on Senate Bill 1259 that was introduced by State Senator Catherine Blakespear from Senate District 38. And the bill would create transparency for oil refinery cleanup costs by establishing standard guidelines for all refiners to follow in assessing and reporting what their costs will likely be should their refineries close. It's a transparency for refinery asset retirement obligations. So if you're interested in reaching out to your state reps or writing letters, I'm going to give you that information. And then this is also the PowerPoint that they presented on June 3rd about the cleanup of the Phillips 66 location. And what I am going to say, which is very important, is that we are in the middle of the public comment session. Submit comments by July 24th via email. So this should give you enough time to, if you're interested, bring it up at next month's meeting and then submit a comment. So I'm going to go ahead and give all of this to the President.
Thank you, Drew.
That's what he did.
Last but not least, I'll give a quick policy update. Since my Clearwater Tunnel update, I will let you do. All right. Protecting residents from hazardous industrial risks is a fundamental public safety responsibility. Following the recent chemical leak and industrial emergency at a manufacturing facility in Garden Grove, and in response to ongoing concerns about facilities operating near homes, schools, and businesses, this last Friday, Councilmember McOsker introduced a motion directing city departments to evaluate every available legal, regulatory, and land use tool to address potential risks associated with Rancho LPG in San Pedro and JCI Jones Chemicals and Harbor Gateway. The motion calls for a comprehensive report on the city's authority to limit, phase out, relocate, or discontinue these uses, assess permitting and compliance issues, and identify opportunities to better protect public health, safety, and neighborhood compatibility. For years, residents have raised concerns about hazardous materials operations in their neighborhoods. By introducing this motion, we can gain a clear understanding of the city's options, strengthen accountability, and ensure that public health and safety remain the highest priority as these facilities undergo continued review and enforcement oversight. Last but not least, June 14th here at Peck Park from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. will be a Juneteenth celebration. Please come and celebrate, and the councilman will be speaking at 1 o'clock and distributing certificates of appreciation to the volunteers. That's it for me today.
Thank you, Drew. I see some hands up, so we'll start with Christina.
Oh, Drew, could you just give the number for that motion?
I don't have the council file on here, so while Sean is speaking, I'm going to see if I can find it. If not, then I'll go ahead and send it to the president later.
Okay, thank you. We're really interested.
I had the same question.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Any other questions from around the table? Chris.
I was just curious. You mentioned the individual, I think that said they're on Miraflores now, the RV, who had threatened Circle team members. And, I mean, doesn't that constitute a criminal activity in itself? It's a terroristic threat to say you're going to burn down their offices, so why are they on the street?
It's a very good question.
I mean, I feel like if any of us made that call, that we know exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
Anyone? Okay. I have something that you and I had talked about a couple months ago, and that is the corner of Channel, Myler, and Battery. That whole corner in there is just inundated with.
I know there's an open LADBA case against them.
I'm sorry?
There's an open Department of Building and Safety case against them for overgrown vegetation abatement.
Well, today when I was walking the most wonderful dog in the world,
You don't have my dog.
there was a guy who I saw in that lot, and he was jumping around, and then he left, and then he kind of was eyeballing stuff around the neighborhood, and then he disappeared. But anyway, I think it's starting to draw.
I'll follow up with the Department of Building and Safety.
That would be great. Thank you.
Unfortunately, so there is a list of parcels that we will clear based off of an ordinance that was passed a long time ago, and that did apply to the ordinance that was on Channel Street, or that lot on Channel that was cleared.
Channel Battery.
Yeah, but unfortunately, this one is not a part of that ordinance, and so therefore we have to put pressure on the owners to do the cleanup.
Okay, because it's I'm afraid 4th of July, and it's all dried out. So,
speaking of which, 4th of July, keep your eyes peeled for our social media and our newsletter. We will be putting out the link very shortly where you can submit your concerns about fireworks to LAPD. They will go and door knock if you know your neighbors have fireworks.
Oh, good.
I'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, keep an eye out. We'll be posting that shortly.
Sorry.
Anyone else?
Yeah. Sorry, just one more. Where can we view that LADBS case on that property?
So if you go to dbs.lacity.gov and you can go to code enforcement, it's like quick links, and you go to code enforcement, and then you can check like a parcel report or check like an enforcement status, and then you'll put in the address of the site. If there's no site address, then you need to put in an assessor parcel number. If you can't find it, you can reach out to me and I can let you know. My email address is drew.leachleach@lacity.org. I do want to let you know that Brian Christian and Paul Reese, our longtime inspectors here, were transferred out. We have a new building inspector. His name is Daniel Gonzalez, and so it's taking him a little bit of time to get acquainted with everything, but that is a parcel that he is now responsible for. So feel free to send me an email and I can provide you an update on that one.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else? Anything? Drew, thank you very much for waiting.
Thank you.
Appreciate your patience. And we have one more person before the presentation. They've been patient. So we're going to go ahead with Sean from our congressional representative.
He said 2.
Good evening, neighborhood council members. Sean
And
Kearns, Senior Field Representative and Grants Coordinator with Congresswoman Annette Barragan's office. Thank you to the neighborhood council for standing up for our trans community and against the attacks led by Trump administration. Thank you for doing so. Around the world, really quick in 2 minutes. War in the Middle East continues. House passed a war powers resolution to put some constraints on this. Similarly, last month, the Senate passed a war powers resolution through a procedural vote that still needs to go to a final vote. The final vote will require 60 yes votes, so still in the process of winning over some other Republican senators in order to get that across the line. Shifting over to Ukraine, Democrats used the discharge petition. This was the same measure that was used in order to force votes on the Epstein files, on the Affordable Care Act tax credit extensions. We used the discharge petition to force a vote on aid for Ukraine, which passed in the House, and we're waiting for a vote in the Senate now. Let's go. Next up, Republicans continuing to pursue reconciliation process to fund ICE. We discussed this last time, why this is so bad. No need to go on that diatribe again. But the difference of what has come forth now versus back then is the $1 billion earmark for Trump's ballroom has been pulled. His $1.8 billion request for the anti-weaponization fund to allow people who, were insurrectionists on the Capitol, that has been pulled too. And there's a vote expected in the House tomorrow. It already did pass in the Senate along mostly a party line vote. Democrats were joined by Senator Murkowski from Alaska in voting against it. Over to some things that will definitely impact local community. The Surface Transportation Reauthorization Bill finally got introduced since our last meeting. It has advanced past one committee level. For those who recall, this is the 5-year bill for different highway transportation, public transit programs, and the current bill expires this September. Members of Congress go on recess in August, so really the timeline is to get it done by July. The good in it, there is going to be some pretty robust funding continued for the Safe Streets for All program. This is where cities and local governments can try to implement their Vision Zero strategies to reduce fatalities, improve pedestrian crosswalks, could be protected bike lanes, a number of measures that could be traffic calming. We were able to secure funding about 2 years ago through this program to do substantial upgrades on Pacific Avenue in Long Beach. Sorry, not the local Pacific Avenue here, but something for us to strive for in the next rounds here. Additionally, there's also a lot of funding for bridges, and there will be some new railroad safety requirements, and some funding to also improve highway and rail crossings. So think of like the Lomita and Alameda corridor area. Also potentially could be like the Channel and John Gibson area. On the bad side, there's less funding for public transit. There's also no reinstatement of the zero emission grant programs that Trump had canceled. Lastly, let's share a community event. The Congresswoman is bringing back her annual senior briefing and health fair. It was on a 1-year hiatus while our venue, the Carson Community Center, was under renovations. So we're going to be back August 14th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. over at the Carson Community Center. There will be health screenings, lunch, chance to connect with probably about 100 resource providers, get an update from your Congresswoman. Yes, it's called senior briefing. Everyone is welcome. No IDs are checked. Did I say in 2 minutes? I might have gone 3. Let's go to questions.
Well, actually, you said 2 words and one way beyond. Two topic. Okay.
Lunch.
Any questions? Okay, let's start with Chris.
You mentioned that there was a loss or no funding for mass transit, but you said there were transportation funds that could be applied to grade crossings, rail, and that sort of thing. Is it possible, I guess, and this may be going too far in the weeds, that some of this money, because you did mention Alameda Corridor, that renovation, improvement, maintenance for Alameda as it crosses Anaheim, John S. Gibson area with those rail crossings, is it possible to request or direct money into the long-term maintenance? Because we're obviously facing a crisis with the bridge closure and the condition of those streets, but is there a way to maybe put the money hose onto that garbage fire?
So those funds that I'm speaking of through that bill will be made on a competitive basis. So it will ultimately be it'll probably be a mix of local, state jurisdictions, some rail authorities like Alameda Corridor Transportation Authority that could apply for that funding. There is the process, though, that I mentioned in the past about like earmarks, like community project funding requests. The guidelines for that do change every year. So potentially next year, they will allow funding for those types of projects. At this point, it'd be too early to determine. Those guidelines are usually announced between February and April of the year, and then requests are due a few weeks later.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions, comments? Any questions or comments from the audience? Sean, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it. And thanks to the Congresswoman for all her hard work.
Thank you very much, Ray. And thank you to the council for your service to my home neighborhood. I appreciate it.
Take care. All right. Clearwater, thank you so much for being patient.
No problem. Thank you. Good evening, members of the Neighborhood Council. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to give you a direct feedback on the Clearwater project and where we are. My name is Maria Rosales Ramirez with the Public Information Office, and joining me here today is Phil Kang, who is the supervisor overseeing the construction of the Clearwater project for the sanitation districts. And also joining me today is Tanya Castro with SGA Marketing, who facilitated this update. The last time we were here was in December 2024. At that time, we had a very optimistic outlook of the project, and then 2025 came along and brought a couple of curveballs to us. So I'm here to kind of answer questions, give updates, and share with you where you are, give you an opportunity to ask questions. While the computer's coming along, I want to remind everybody that the Clearwater project is one of the sanitation district's aging infrastructure projects. The way we have the Warren facility, which is a facility that cleans the majority, or I should say 400 million gallons of water from LA County. And the way it's located in Carson. Carson is not anywhere near the ocean, so this facility relies on 2 tunnels to carry the water out to Royal Palms Beach, where we have an existing infrastructure. So again, this is cleaned water. These tunnels have been in place since 1958 and 1938. So they've been working and in existence for a very, very long time, every day since they were placed into business. In the late 1990s, early 2000s, there was a comprehensive analysis of the districts into where are the weaknesses into our sewer system. And that's where the Clearwater project was identified, that we needed to replace these tunnels, these 2 tunnels. So that's where, if I had to boil down Clearwater into one thing, is we're building a new tunnel. Phil, could you go to the next slide? Great. Thank you. So what you're seeing here is the two tunnels shown in blue. Those are the 2 tunnels that are currently ongoing right now. Again, they're taking clean water from Warren and Carson out to Royal Palms Beach, where we have our existing infrastructure. The Clearwater project, it's kind of cropped off from the bottom, but entails also building a 3rd tunnel, a brand new tunnel to replace the existing tunnels, because we need to address aging infrastructure, because the 2 old tunnels were built before there were any seismic standards that would fall into play today. And also a lesser known fact is that when it rains, a lot of more water gets introduced into the sewer system, and maybe it doesn't rain that often here, but when it does rain, now we have a lot more flow. The flows at the Warren facility can actually triple, and that means that we are at risk of flooding. We don't want that to flood, because the emergency action would be to release untreated sewage or partially treated sewage to the Dominguez Channel, which then goes to the harbors. That's a big no-no. So we've been planning for this project since the 2000s. We went through our environmental phase, then we went into our design phase. In 2017, 2018, we started construction. And can I have the next slide? Yes, ma'am?
On this slide here is the yellow western, and then the blue is at RPV, Rancho Palos Verdes.
No, the blue lines are the existing tunnels. Did I understand your question?
Existing tunnels in what city? Los Angeles or RPV?
Oh, Los Angeles, yeah. And we have mentioned before, when we've presented here before, how the way we build a big tunnel underground is using a tunnel boring machine, which builds the walls of the tunnel, and it moves the spoils from the tunnel above ground using mechanical methods. and it actually like digs the actual walls of the tunnel. So this is the machine that has allowed us to build a tunnel since we started tunneling. Next slide. So I've shown this slide before. I'm kind of point out kind of where we are in the tunneling. We started in Warren. You've seen this before, but in case somebody hasn't, we went down Figueroa underneath the 110 freeway. We went through the golf course. Took a little while to get there. We went underneath the lake. We went down Gaffey. All this was constructed probably in the 2020, 2021. We went down Gaffey Street, noticed that we're staying within public right-of-way. That was important to the community. There are very small exceptions when we're not within public right-of-way. One of those is actually coming right up, where we had to cut across the Target parking lot. So not residential area, but a commercial area. Then we went up Capitol. You guys are local. You know this is where we're going up the mountain, going uphill. And this took a while too. We went down, again, this is another commercial property, not residential. Now we're going south on Western, Peck Park. We were around here probably fall of 2024. So all this has already been built. So now we're coming up to Dodson Street. You know, Western Avenue kind of goes kind of wide here. This is a more direct place. So this is where, that's Avery Park right there. All this was built probably in January through March of 2024. This right here, right before we connect to Western, from here on out, it has not been built. Our tunnel is actually not in construction right now. So this is just to show you how the path is projected to go once we do restart construction again. We're going to continue going down Western, and then we're going to make this wide turn leading into our existing infrastructure that's in Royal Palms Beach. If you have ever wondered why that little area's fenced off, that's because our facility is there. Next slide, Phil. Thank you. So to address the tunnel construction, I don't know if you guys remember where you were July 9th, 2025 at around 9 p.m., but Phil and I have very fond memories of that day. That was the day where we did have our breach incident. It was all over the news. You may have seen us in the news. But to address what happened, yes, we did get notified that there was a breach in the tunnel construction. At the time, we had to mobilize our crews to find out, understand what happened. So just to address the location, this is within the right-of-way along Western Avenue. There's again, it's not a residential area, but the closest we can say it's kind of lateral to the end of that cul-de-sac on 5th Street. So that's where it is above ground, if I was to project above ground. Next slide, Phil. But in reality, it's actually almost it is 368 feet below ground. That's extremely, extremely deep. That's more than the Statue of Liberty. I've mentioned that before. So that's the location of where the collapse, the partial top of the tunnel kind of fell through. But I just want to point out where that is in comparison with where the actual tunnel boring machine was, which was 1 mile ahead, closer to where the southern end of Dodson meets Western Avenue. Next slide, Phil. Okay, I see it got cut off, but okay, so this is kind of what happened that day. We had a vehicle that was carrying equipment going to the front of the tunnel. This is where the actual excavation is happening. And it was returning back towards Carson to reload materials. But 1 mile on his return trip, that's where they see that there was a partial collapse, and that's what you're seeing on the photo. The tunnel boring, the multi-vehicle couldn't follow through. So at that point, they went back to pick up the crew that was at the front. And what you can see here, I know the shading's not ideal, is that there was just enough crawl space for the crew to be able to walk through or squeeze through and come out on the other side where there was another vehicle waiting for them, and then they were taken up above ground. All workers exited safely, and they were medically evaluated by the LA Fire Department, which was good news for us. Definitely the outcome that we definitely wanted. But how do we move forward from here? At this point, you can guess that Cal OSHA red tagged the entrance to the tunnel the very next day. So we are driven by safety first. This has kind of determined our approach on how do we get back inside the tunnel to understand the situation, what led to the collapse. So yes, we did start an investigation. An investigation is a very broad term because we've hired consultants and tunnel experts reviewing the paperwork. But there's also the physical component of going to, if you will, like the scene of where the incident happened. However, how can we get in 360 feet below ground, 5 miles underground if Cal OSHA has not let us set foot in there? So that's the kind of engineering problems that we get sent our way. Can I have the next slide? So it's been a very methodical process. The sanitation districts, of course, if you weren't aware, have hired Flatiron Dragados, who's the actual contractor for the works. So it's been working through Flatiron Dragados to submit the paperwork to be reviewed with the sanitation district staff and then sent over to Cal OSHA, who has allowed the re-entry into the tunnel to proceed in phases. So at first, once the paperwork was cleared, we were able to proceed, within a certain distance into the tunnel. And that's that photo that you see on the top left corner. At that point in time, there was no ventilation and no power, so the staff had to proceed with the respiration and the gears. And then as the site investigation were restored, we were able to proceed further and further in, again, with Cal OSHA's approval. Now, past a certain point, we also had to evaluate what are the conditions of the tunnel, and we had to rely on technology to help us make this assessment. So this is the picture on the lower left corner is actually a rover, a robot that was meant. So that's a way to get eyes into the tunnel without putting employees or staff into the tunnel. And of course, and what you're seeing on the lower right corner is the staff seeing through the rover, kind of the conditions. Of course, we're able to speak about it now, very succinctly, right? But this took months to push out. This wasn't a fast approach. We wanted to make sure we got it right, that we got it done right. So of course, it took a certain time. We were not able to enter the tunnel, I believe, until late December, early January. So just to be clear, there is no tunnel construction ongoing. The tunnel is completed up to very close to mile 6. It had 1 more mile to go. The breach incident happened in mile 5, and right now all the focus is getting done in understanding what led to the tunnel breach. And our focus right now is getting in there and getting to the breach, working through Cal OSHA to let our equipment, our consultants, and everybody access to the site. Next slide, Phil. Which kind of brings us to Western Avenue. So again, this kind of goes as how do we get to understand what's going on 350 feet below ground, but we can't get in the tunnel. Before I get into that, I just want to address that one of the first action items that happened the night of the incident was having equipment and staff go to where this point would be above ground. So to this day, there has not been any discernible movement on the streets at that location. At first, we had sanitation district surveying crews and also Flatiron Dragados surveying crews making readings daily, then every other day. And eventually, we have set up ground monitoring equipment, automatic ground monitoring equipment that's actually installed in posts, which take automatic measurements. So to this day, there has not been any movement. 360 feet is very deep inside the bedrock. But going back to my earlier point is can you go to the next slide? How do we get underground? How do we get to see what's going on when we can't get into the tunnel? So that's kind of what got us to starting our investigative work on Western Avenue, which was ideally, it sounded simple, but let's start drilling a hole in there to get a camera underground. A lot easier said than done. This was solid bedrock we had to bore through, and the Flatiron Dragados crews had to work with Caltrans who allowed permits, and the permits were not allowed to be gone, 24 hours. So even if we had a 12-hour work window, there was only so much time we were allowed to set up equipment and monitor equipment and set up the drilling. So if there was it wasn't efficient, but that's what we had, and that's what it took us a while to get some eyes and cameras and understand what's going on through the work on Western Avenue, which I'm happy to report that up until this point has already been completed. But simultaneously, we're also getting the answers through the drone that took a while to build, which was actually able to get in, from the tunnel level. So we got the answers. I thank everybody for their patience, but this was obviously not a quick fix. There was, had to be kind of built for what we were looking for. So Next slide. So now we're going to address work at Royal Palms Beach. So back then we thought, okay, well, we have to address the tunnel. We're going to take our time in getting the tunnel construction going. We're also working in Royal Palms Beach where the tunnel ends. I've mentioned before how there's an existing infrastructure there that connects the two existing tunnels, and that's what you actually see shown in white. You see the two tunnels coming from the north, tying to an existing manifold structure, and then two outfalls that carry the clean water. There's actually 4 of them that carry the clean water underneath the water. And what you're seeing in yellow is where the new tunnel, once it's built, is going to get connected to. So that means we have to make a connection to the existing manifold. Yes, thank you, Phil, for going through the animations. So there's existing manifold. Keep going. There's the new tunnel, and this is what the expanded manifold has to be. It has to be adjusted to connect the new tunnel, and we have to do a bypass. So there's a lot of work that has to happen here. Yes, because the tunnel is delayed. Now this is going to get delayed, the actual tying in, but there's a lot of prep work that we have to do ahead of time. That's the work that actually started. I want to say spring 2025, if it's all going well. Next slide, Phil. One of the first things that we had to do was build a temporary sound wall. If you've been to the area, you will see that there's this wall. It was definitely made to separate the project site. We had to use some of the parking spots on the beach. Next slide. But then we did hit another roadblock that during our construction phase, which we didn't get very far. I'm going to start that. We hadn't even fully started the excavation phase. There were Native American artifacts that were found. Out of respect to the Native American community, who, at their request, we're not going to go any further, but for the purposes of the briefing today, we are working through the State Historic Preservation Office, which is part of delegated through the project, to work with them to kind of report our findings and meter out at work. So work is happening. It's being worked through SHPA, the State Historic Preservation Office, and it's been at a much lower pace because we're allowing for this archaeological investigation to continue simultaneously. So this is also another project another aspect of the project that has been slowed down. As you can imagine, there's a lot of paperwork that had to be submitted, and this is another a construction part that was restarted in January of 2026. So again, 2025, we kind of didn't have too much going on, but we look for 2026 to kind of get all that going and get us moving forward in the right direction. Next slide, Phil. In case you're interested, for Royal Palms Beach, we did make a commitment to make sure that the beach is available to all times. Traffic, Royal Palms Beach, if you've been there, you have to take a road to drive down. There is going to be an increased traffic when we start the excavation phase. We are not near the excavation phase yet because we kind of start at the top, drilling some piles, and that's where the archaeological investigation started. So we are not there yet, but we will post updates on our website when the time comes, and we'll restart this investigation. And just to also let you know, we do have personnel on site at any of our construction sites, either at Western, Royal Palms, and even at the shaft site. Next slide. So I guess where do we go from here? Yes, this was not what we were expecting, but our commitment is safety first. We're working with Cal OSHA to give us access, and that would then allow our staff, our consultants, to be able to access the entire tunnel in stages. We are not near the breach point yet. We are working our way there. Once we're there, now we'll actually be able to continue the physical part of the investigation because we'll be at the site and be able to kind of finalize or continue a repair plan. And to this end, it's not like we haven't done anything. One of the important things was hiring extra consultants and tunnel experts to give us an unbiased third-party opinion on what is going on, what could happen. I do want to reiterate that the breaches, it's very rare for something like this to happen. So we are looking to understand the situation, but we don't have the full picture yet because we are not there yet. And in the meantime, construction on Royal Palms Beach continues at a much slower pace, but it is concurrent with the Indigenous investigation that's ongoing right now. Next slide, Phil. And with that, I know I understand sometimes, I'm more than happy to come and answer questions here, but one of the best places to have updates is the Clearwater website. We recently rebuilt it, and we actually separated it into 3 phases. If you're interested in a Royal Palms Beach update, there's a section. There's one for Western, and there's also for the tunnel. I think the QR code is actually a little bit cut off, but we also send out email blasts if you sign up. We send email updates. And of course, my information is here, and so is Phil's if you would like us to address any questions today or anything else that comes here and forth. So now it's time for questions.
Yeah. I'm going to turn this off real quick. I don't want to be blinded. So I have a couple of questions for stakeholders that couldn't be here tonight that were text to me. So the first one is, it's my understanding from what they were saying that during this tunnel collapse, there's 2 homes that are on Dobson Avenue that moved on their foundation during this collapse.
No, that would be inaccurate. The collapse happened right above the residential street, not on Dodson. It was on Western.
Okay, because that's one of the things she was told, that there's 2 houses that their foundation is affected by this.
This is news to us.
And then the other thing is, the other person said that they were told that this tunnel collapsed so bad that now you're going to have to do a different tunnel pathway than the one that you have now because of the soil and all that in the particular area that you were going may not be stable enough to continue doing the tunnel and move it to a different location kind of further over.
That's interesting that you say that, but that's certainly a thought, but that's not the way we're proceeding. Again, this path was, has 15 years of planning ahead of it, so our current understanding is to proceed with the plan that we have, but we have to get to the tunnel first and to the tunnel boring machine first. So that's getting way ahead of where we are at this point right now. And Phil, I think you're walking your way over because you're going to add something. No? Stretching your legs? Okay.
Yeah, again, Phil King, I'm construction manager for this project. We're committed to the current alignment as shown. We're working with OSHA, Cal-OSHA, to advance entry into the tunnel further. And then the game plan is work our way through the collapsed area in a safe manner, and then get on the other side, and then recover the machine and continue forward on the original route. So there's no plans to deviate and build in the tunnel or come backwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Recover the machine.
The question was, how, if I understand correctly, how are we planning to recover the machine?
So the machine, if you recall from the slide deck, the location where it is right now is at 400, or close to 400 feet below grade. So there is no economical and engineering way to do that safely, going down 400 feet to extract the machine. So like I said, we're committed to retrieving the machine from within. And then if you look at the alignment again, we can share these slides. As it gets closer to Royal Palms Beach, then it's like 10 to 15 feet below the surface. And that's where we're going to extract the machine. So again, we're committed to staying on the original path with the planned route ending at Royal Palms Beach. Hence the big excavation there. And then we're going to open up the ground, extract the machine from there.
Can I just add one more thing? One of the questions, we didn't show it here, but I've probably shared it in different presentations, is that the machine was actually built above ground, taken apart, lowered in pieces, and reassembled underground. So that's actually a good thing now because it's able to put the machine apart in pieces, which is how we are. Once we get in there, we're hoping to be able to take parts and swaps out and then being able to, I want to say, turn it on and see where we go from there. Question?
Victor.
Two questions. At the Royal Palms area, the it looked like 3 existing pipes that go offshore. How far offshore do they go before they empty into the ocean?
There's 4.
And okay, and what kind of Native American artifacts were found?
So to answer your first question is 1.5 miles to 2 miles. They all don't extend the same range because may have different purposes, but they do branch out. And then, to be honest, we were asked not to mention the native artifacts, but Phil, I don't know.
Okay, understood. Okay.
We were asked to share the essential, which is there's an investigation going on.
Are you working at all with the Native American Indian Commission?
Yes,
for the
that's part
county
of-
and city of Los Angeles?
We're working directly with the entity,
With the entity?
the Native American group itself.
Could you name the tribe
The
at
tribe,
least?
yes.
Could you name the tribe, the nation?
Keys Nation?
I'm sorry?
Keys Nation?
Quiche? Okay.
Any other questions?
Chris?
Yeah, sorry if it has been covered already. At whatever point the repairs are able to be made to the collapse section and you have whatever other clearances you might need, how far out do you think completion might be?
How far what?
How far out do you think completion might be once you get the notice to proceed?
That's really hard to speculate. I don't want to do a disservice to the project, but I don't have an honest guess. We are not even there yet.
Was there an estimate at the time, like before the collapse? Did you think we're X number of months out or whatever?
I can say that prior to the breach incident, we were, maybe a month from reaching the projects, the Royal Palms Beach, because it was a 7-mile project and we were on mile 6.
Gotcha.
And at some point, the topography changes, right? Because we're getting closer to the ocean, so the soil changes.
Right.
So we were very close.
Okay,
This one hurt. This one hurt.
It's just a ballpark, yeah. Thanks.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Oh, I was going to ask what you think the estimated time is to finish it now, because this looks like it's going to take 3 times the amount that you had said before, because you even had trouble on gapping, and the committee had been told before that there was going to be pipes and stuff you run into.
It's hard to speculate. Like I said, we've been working with Kalosha just to get to the breach location, and that's paperwork on its own. I say that it's a discussions and negotiation. There's paperwork that's submitted. They ask for changes. We address that, and then we change it back. As long as we get it right, our chief engineer general office said it will take as long as it needs to take, as long as we do it right, and that's our commitment to the community.
Any other questions? Audience, any questions? I see no hands. I want to thank you for your patience. We had a kind of an extra long set of motions to go through, and I wanted to make sure that we heard from our fire and other community members. So thank you so much for being here, being patient with us, and thank you for the presentation.
No problem. Thank you. I was hoping someone would ask me if I had a dog. I do. I have 2 dogs. Next time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. If you hang around, you can show us the pictures of your dog, too. I'll show you mine.
Put them in the slideshow.
I zoom it quick. As long as you're not down in the hole, we're good.
Thank you so much.
I wouldn't want to ask if there's a dog in the hole driller.
All right. That concludes agenda item number 5. Number 6, our homelessness liaison report. Lori?
Thanks, guys. I can see the clock. I'll go quickly. So the first part of my report at another neighborhood council meeting, they were asking me very specifically about resources for veterans. Somebody's had a veteran who was living in his car. So that's why I have some resources specific to veterans if you know anybody in that situation. The second item is the CIS we already discussed. And in our last meeting, I believe it was April, had asked questions about the difference between low-income housing and affordable housing. And they are two different terms. And I've been involved with it, but I'm not a real expert in it. So I got somebody who is an expert in it to write this out. I'm not going to read this to you. You can read this, but basically, people have used those terms interchangeably. And I did myself when I was first new to this, but they are two different things. Low-income housing usually refers to the income level of the household in the housing policy, etc. And affordable housing refers to housing where the rent or housing cost is restricted by some type of program. And of course, the word affordable is totally subjective. So read through that. If you have questions, I can get you the email address of the person who wrote this, although his wife is about to give birth, so you got to leave him alone for a little while, but I can try and get answers. And then at the bottom of my report, too, at the end of that, I have a link if you're interested in specific data. And I have a couple of the charts. They're hard to read, but some of you are data nuts. So if you want to look at the housing department, the different income levels, the type of housing, something like that, go ahead and look at that. But it is important to understand that when you're hearing people talk about affordable housing and low-income housing, they're not the same thing. And then as far as rent control or rent stabilization, honestly, as I'm a renter now, I'm like, yes, I want rent control. And then talking to people, I found out that actually rent control eventually can actually drive rents up. Okay, and so that you have to have a fair discussion to acknowledge both the benefits and the trade-offs. So again, it would naturally, if you rent, think, well, yeah, I want them to control it. But if you read through this, I think it's a good explanation. And the reason I'm trying to provide this information is when you go to the voting booth or you're reading all these things talking about housing, that you could be a little more well-informed. Housing is extremely complex in LA, and there's a lot of barriers to new housing being developed. And that's why our mayor has tried to put through directives to try and cut down on some of those barriers. And then you get environmentalists who are saying you're not looking at the environment or you're not looking at the traffic. Again, those are all trade-offs. You know, we don't have enough housing for the people that are here. So we just need to common sense evaluate and make a decision. So I'm not an expert on housing, so that's why I tried to provide information here. And that's basically my report for this month.
Any questions?
Yay, no questions.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
If I can, it's too late. If I can, no, I'm kidding. But just let me say that Lori spent huge amounts of time during the elections working to make sure that there was no election interference.
Yes. I was in the car for 4 days all day with Ray.
Oh, wow. No, they were the best 4 days of our lives. So.
No, when he annoyed me, I made him listen to ABBA on the radio.
What does Yolanda have to say about that comment?
We're not going to take it that out.
Yeah, no, it was actually an incredible experience. We saw amazing diversity and civic engagement for people at the poll workers. A lot of them work for DMH, DPSS. They care about housing and all kinds of issues. So we actually met some really interesting, civically engaged people. So it was good, and I'm glad we didn't really have any experiences with interference.
That's right.
Saving democracy.
So thank you, Lori. Any questions?
Kelly apparently.
Yeah, Kelly.
I noticed that the hotel that's on First and Gaffey
Yes.
is now a veterans.
It's been that way for a few years now.
They just put the sign up. So that is that a housing
no,
place?
they put the
for-
sign up because they named it after Luis Dominguez, who's a veteran. But it's been veteran housing. I think it's considered permanent supportive housing. I'm not totally sure, but it's been veteran housing for probably 5 or 6 years now. It was
Okay.
converted.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And
I
to
was
my
very happy to
knowledge,
see the sign.
it's full with a waiting list. So I didn't really list it on here because to get there, I think you have to go through a case manager or some type of outreach program. But yeah, that's what it is. And it's only male veterans too.
Oh, okay.
So.
Any other questions? Yeah, John.
What about the one that's over by Western and just before PCH? The new one they just finished building, I think.
Oh no, that's Western Landing, which is this also owned, built by Abode Communities that built Beacons Landing. What about it? That is permanent supportive housing. So those are people who, it's subsidized housing. So I didn't go into that in great detail here. Usually you have to pay a certain percentage of what your income is to live there. But I've done reports before on Beacons Landing. So, but as I reported a couple of months ago, there's a lot of problems happening at Beacons Landing, and so we need better accountability and oversight. If we're going to put our money into this, we need to make sure that there's enough case management that there aren't problems. And I just heard, I talked to Filoni yesterday or the day before, there was actually a double homicide at a permanent supportive housing unit in Wilmington. So all of these things need oversight, which take money. So think about this just real quickly. You build all this housing and you house all these people, but if you don't have enough case management to take care of it, they don't have good retention, drugs get in there, and now we've actually wasted our money. But they say we want to focus on more people getting housed. So it's that same thing. How do you prioritize the money? Where does it go? But anyway, that's it.
Thank you, Lori. And I do want to make one other announcement. John, he also worked very heavily for the 4 days of the elections. Thank you so much for that, John. We really appreciate it.
I voted. Does that mean I work hard?
And for every one of you who voted, that's great. That's even better.
That's the bare minimum.
I know how the bare minimum.
I was going to say gingerbread. I knew it was something like that.
Right in.
So, cool. Let's go ahead. Our next item is going to be the president's meeting with the port. I was working, so I could not, and Thomas is not here, so we're going to go and pass that up. Committee reports. Let me just say from the executive committee, next month are elections for the leadership of the neighborhood council. We do that yearly, so keep in mind who you would like to see your neighborhood council led by. Talk to people, but we will do that at the early portion of the meeting so that whoever is elected will take on the rest of the responsibilities of the meeting. So what I'm going to do in the essence of time, does any other committee have a report that can be said quickly?
I have one thing.
Okay, one thing, and that is for what?
That is for Budget Advocates. It's to announce that Budget Day, June 27th, and breakfast is from, networking is from 7:30 to 8:40 a.m., program is from 9 a.m. to 11:25. Regional breakout sessions are from 11:40 to 1. And it's at City Hall at Spring Street. And so you have to go on to www.budgetadvocates.org to register.
Could you send that to everybody? The link, so if they want to go, they can register on their own.
Send it to them?
Send it to everybody.
Oh, okay. I can send it, yeah.
Okay, that's it?
Game.
That's it?
Oh, yep.
Okay. King.
Just a brief update on the notice of public hearing in city planning on June 11th at 8:30 in the morning. This will be an hearing on the proposed San Pedro zoning code update, which is scheduled to be on the date that I've already said. And I'm encouraging, the committee's encouraging that everybody, if you can, of course, be a part of it. What is this project? It's the project to apply a new zoning code in the San Pedro community plan area. It involves the application of zoning offered by the zoning code and new general planned land use designation while staying consistent with the vision, policies, etc. So this is going to be really important, and I do know that some of our longtime members that have come and gone with the Planning Land Use Committee were very instrumental in this, and so I actually plan on being there on Thursday of this morning, and want to encourage other community board members.
Is it going to be on Zoom too, or is
It's on Zoom.
Yes, it will be
Yeah.
on Zoom.
Can you share that with us too, Melanie, please? Can you share that with us too, please? Melanie?
I've got the link. I can send it with the other link and share it with you.
That's okay. Thank you. Youth and outreach? Anything? No. Community issues? Nothing?
Do you want me to bring up anything regarding Target or not at this time?
You know, if you can give a brief thing, because I think Target, I've heard it with these guys here, and I get very disturbed just by the way it looks and the fact that they are really looking for partnership with our neighborhood council. So I think we got something that we can do. So if you'd like to talk a little bit about it.
Yes, so Melanie, Ray, Gwen, and I met about a month ago, and we're trying to kind of create more defined bullet points to go along with the letter that we wrote, and it's specifically focusing on security and exterior appearance of the property in regards to their renewing their liquor license or getting the spirits. We are going to try and meet with Target next week and see if we can come to some sort of agreement, if possible, if we can draw this up so that they would be willing to sign, because I can't find documentations of them signing back in 2017 on the agreements. But Beth has been reaching out, but wanting meetings the following day, which is not possible. So hopefully we will have some success with this next week.
Thank you. Any questions? Lori?
This is for the Public Safety Committee. Since we voted on the CIS to oppose the 260275, will you be filing a CIS showing that we opposed it?
It'll be filed probably tomorrow.
Okay, but we didn't have language to it, so you could just vote, just say we opposed it without having any explanation, right? Because we didn't create a motion saying why we opposed it. I'm trying to keep it simple.
I'm not sure whether we even. I guess. Yeah, we did.
I'm saying you could just oppose it without.
Yeah,
we didn't go
you
farther
bring up
on
a
it.
valid thing. We didn't like.
But you can file it with just saying we opposed it without going into an
For a
explanation.
council
right?
file, for the other one, we opposed it. It was a no. So we have to record it that we opposed it.
As a CIS.
So how?
What was the number?
260275.
260275. It's the one for Tim.
The Safety Committee.
Oh, no, you don't even upload it. The motion failed.
It failed, so we
Yeah,
just
you
don't
don't
even
even-
file it.
So we don't file a CIS that we opposed it?
No, because, no. The motion was to support the council file. We voted
Against it.
Against it.
So it failed.
The motion failed.
Okay,
If we were to file it to oppose it, we would have voted that we oppose this council file.
Okay.
But since, yeah.
All right,
I was
accept that
confused, too.
just because it's late.
But since it's failed, then
Yeah,
you
just
don't
do nothing.
you don't upload anything.
All right. In the essence of time, anything else? Any other committee reports? Kane?
No, I just have a question. I have a question about timing in meetings. Are we going to rearrange meetings or try any other ways to?
Can you define rearrange as you stated?
We did tonight.
yeah, we did tonight, but just committee meetings or committee reports. Maybe alternating in the beginning of the meeting, but again, I know that you probably have been talking about this at exec meetings as well.
That is something that I think we need to discuss at our executive committee meeting to see how we are better. But I will be very, very honest with you. Sometimes when we're asking questions, we start our questions with a very long prelude. And we kind of lose the whole essence of what's going on. And we've tried in the past to make it ask your most important question for the basis of, and some people are asking 2, 3 questions, and they start to have a dialogue with the people who are here. And that takes up a lot of our time. So any dialogue anyone wants to have should be at the committee level, because that's where we do our work, and then we end up with an issue to vote on. When we have visitors that come, I think that's the appropriate time. But we need to be more timely with our questions and make them concise. And
I think I like the motions front-loaded like that tonight, though. We got through all that, and we're able to then do the other business after.
And that's great. And that's great. I just want to make sure that we are conscious, in all fairness to our visitors who are here. Yeah. To be able to make sure that they're also heard, because we had like about 4 or 5 firefighters in the back, but then at the end there was only 2 left because they had to leave. So, and these guys are
they're on the clock.
Yeah, well, when you're on the microphone, you're borrowing time from everybody in the room. You need to be thoughtful that what you're doing is valuable to them instead of just expressive for you.
True.
Yeah.
And you have to weigh what our purpose here is. It's not to be the audience for the people that come in to visit. We have to conduct our business first with the motions and things that we do in the council files. And then it's the other stuff that follows, I think, is the important thing, because that is our business that we're here to do, to get through that.
This discussion is not on the agenda.
Right.
Are we done with the reports yet or not?
Oh, I had one mention for animal
I'm
shelter.
sorry?
I had one mention for animal shelter, if we're down there yet.
That's the next place I was going to go for the liaison.
Do you have anything?
I thought we were done. Yes.
Just a reminder that this month is Animal Adoption Month. In the city of Lawndale at the Jane Addams Park, they are having a low-cost vaccine clinic from 10 to 1. And then there is going to be another big adoption day, and possibly Best Friends will be offering a low-cost spay and neuter clinic. That one is June 27th down in Long Beach. But there's a number of these opportunities for vaccination and spay-neuter around the city for the month of June.
And if you can do it, please foster an animal, because it's so much better than in the shelters. So, but take 2 or 3 home. Stay with him. Anyway, anything else? Anyone? Okay, I'd like to call this meeting adjourned. Our next meeting will be the 13th of July. Thank you.
Thank you. Christina, come here
For the record, Cynthia Gagne left at 8:31 p.m. and the meeting is adjourned at 8:49 p.m.
I didn't remember you. Can you say it now? I mean, people are still here. I don't think. Go ahead.
Okay, everybody, we're unadjourned for a minute. Yes, we're unadjourned because I had an announcement that didn't get to do. Once again, and this is a broken record, I understand, and you may not want to hear it, but I'm going to say it again. People need to follow the Brown Act rules and post the agendas where they're supposed to be. We had 3 committees last month that did not follow the Brown Act rules, that did not publish their agendas where they were supposed to be. And those 3 places are NC Support, the email address you should already have, NC Web Posting, the email address you should already have, and the hard copy at LAPD Harbor Division. All 3 of those for a regular meeting need to be posted at least 72 hours in advance of the meeting, or you may not take any action or discuss things at your meeting. And if that means you need to cancel the meeting because you don't have anything to discuss, them's the breaks. You got to follow the rules. This is not an option. It's not I'll do it when I feel like it. It's the law. So just do it so you don't have to keep hearing me harp on this. I don't like it any more than you do. Okay, I'm done.
All right.
Now we are adjourned at 8:52 p.m.
There's a standing environmental and sustainability committee meeting slot on the second Tuesday. But they never posted a notice. It was just Cheryl. But I mean, that's just in the Google calendar. To
Right.
me, like, I don't think that has any bearing on
No.
reality.
No. I am available to meet.
I said something.
Oh, but the last one.
And they still screwed it.
I literally pulled my ass out.
Yeah, we need to have the 72 hours so we
Yeah.
can submit an agenda, which I
Okay.
think
I literally, on errands with my mom, had to
So,
go around to the make her sit in
do
the
you
car
wanna
and
do-
go in to put the thing up.
Is Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday better for you?
You know, it's just you have to do what you have to do.